The tickets, Jake Sorensen.
Did seem kind of meh.
And Steve Sipple.
Surprisingly good.
This is Early Break with Sip and Jake. Sponsored by Gaina Trucking.
Good morning. Happy Thursday to you, Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen. Early Break, full show ahead. Mike Schaefer in studio for the entire 7 o'clock hour. It's a sad day for you and me. You texted me last night about, 7:30 or so. Thought you were joking. Got on social media. You were correct.
I was joking.
Coolio, who has been a big part of this show. We have a lot of Coolio songs for Song of the Day. We have an outro every day that's Coolio. See you when you get there. Dead, age 59, cardiac arrest. Sad. I'm sad today.
He was in L.A.
And you know what? Every outro today we have going to break, I got a Coolio song for you today. So
That's
we're all
Coolio.
ready to go. Yeah, it is Coolio. I saw Coolio in concert once.
I know
He
you
was
did.
awesome.
So that was 2014?
2014. I saw him at the when the rail yard was still an entertainment district.
Easy there.
Yeah, that was shots fired.
Because
When it was entertainment at the old Vega, second floor next to the old Buffalo Wings and Rings. Coolio was up there in 2014, and he was awesome.
yeah,
He was
and you
probably
have
an hour and a half late to the concert, though. I think he's supposed to go on at 10:30. He got there like at midnight. Dead serious. And he was great still. And he walked through the crowd, so I got that picture with him.
nice.
I saw on Twitter last night.
Yeah, that was that's a great photo. That's a great photo. That's amazing, actually. A photo of you, your friend, and Coolio.
Yeah.
I had no idea you had
Did
that.
you see the hair that
Yeah.
Coolio, it's like in my face? Like it's got these two little dreads basically
Yeah.
sticking out.
It's a great photo.
Coolio was fun, man. Good concert.
2014.
That was 8 years ago.
So he was 50. God, he looked good.
He did.
I mean,
He was over an hour and a half late to his concert, but he got there.
yeah,
We were on his time.
actually that's pretty standard, I think, in the world. It's kind of cool to do that.
Coolio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
well,
RIP
we'll
to
talk
him.
about that later.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of his you'll hear his songs throughout the show today. Just we are certainly honoring Coolio's life today on the show.
Thank you, Jake.
464-5685. Call or text. As always, you can watch and comment on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. And always, this show is sponsored by Gaina Trucking. Yesterday, Sip, Bill Bush and Mark Whipple spoke after practice. Nebraska again plays Indiana this Saturday at 6:30. Bill Bush's first game as Nebraska's defensive coordinator. Mark Whipple, of course, has still been the OC. He will be the OC still. You were there, correct?
Correct.
What was the biggest thing that you heard?
Oh, I don't know. Let's start with Mark Whipple.
Let's start with Whip.
He's the offensive coordinator. He was asked about the tempo issue. Now, this is an interesting discussion to me because I thought about it a little bit more yesterday, and I heard from an old offensive coordinator who I don't want to get into. He wouldn't want to get into me, but he would not want me to get into who he is. And by the way, what we're talking about is, remember Mickey said in the wake of the Oklahoma game, I should have slowed the tempo. Do you remember that?
I do.
And he said, it didn't really dawn on me till it was 35-7. And that Mickey has said they're going to slow the tempo going forward, right?
Yes.
Right? That's accurate?
That's what Mickey had said.
Is that all that accurate?
Yeah, it's true.
Whipple actually said yesterday that it wouldn't have mattered against Oklahoma. he said the words, against Oklahoma, it wouldn't have helped slowing it down. Now, Jake, I think you would disagree with that. He says whatever. Okay, so how does Nebraska's offensive play caller feel about the tempo issue? He said, whatever we need to do to win the game. He says it's kind of dictated by the game, Against Oklahoma, it wouldn't have helped slowing it down. It's interesting. That's different than his head coach, than his interim head coach's perspective.
We've heard coaches in the past at Nebraska be on different pages. including when it felt like Scott Frost and Mark Whipple this year were on different pages at times, at least early on or in the preseason even.
Here's what an old OC told me. And he said this. He referred to himself as an old OC. As an old OC, it was always my mindset to score and not to make sure the defense was rested.
So he's on Whipple's side then, of course. Yeah. Well, of course OCs are going to back up OCs. They're
I think he said this before Whipple talked.
Okay.
I just noticed it this morning.
Well, this goes back to what we had talked about in that whole concept of slowing the tempo down. You still have to get first downs. Like you can take longer in the huddle, but if you go 3 and out, it's still not very
good for the defense.
Right, exactly.
Right. But we need on this show to challenge ourselves.
Okay.
Not just to sign off on everything a coach says, which you really don't do. I
like to push back on that.
Yeah. You didn't push back on this though. You were all in on the slow the tempo helps the defense.
Well, hang on.
Now, if you were,
we did discuss that, saying that it's easier said than done to slow the tempo down.
Yeah, especially if you want to score. If you want to do what it takes to score, then do you want your head coach telling you, hey, take it easy now?
No, I don't know what message that sends to your team if you're saying, slow the tempo down, don't score too quickly.
Right. Slowing the offense, according to the old OC, I'm reading it right now, doesn't equate to defensive success. The key is you got to get first downs. That's what Whip said yesterday. He kind of shrugged it off. He said, we got to get first downs. And they have to, he didn't say this, I'm saying it. The defense has to get off the field, stop the opponent on third down. So I'm not really pushing back that much, but I think I would if I was an offensive coordinator and my head coach was telling me, hey, we're going to slow it down. We're not going to score that much. I'd be like, wait a second. That's my whole job is to get in the end zone, right? That's the entirety of my job.
Let me ask you something.
Although you could say, no, it's not. The entirety of your job is to help the team win. And if that means slowing it down, that's what you're going to do.
Now, you watched Kansas State, Oklahoma on Saturday night, right? At least part of that game.
Yeah.
Now, K-State's defense is a lot better than Nebraska, but I want to go. K-State wins that football game on the road. Was their offense tempo slow?
I mean,
did they had some sustained drives?
Right. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say they were conservative. No, they turned Adrian loose in that game. Hold on. Do not interrupt. They I interrupt you all the time.
You do all the time. I'm going to interrupt again.
They turned Adrian loose in that game. They turned Adrian loose. He was winging it.
Yeah. Well, the problem for Nebraska on Saturday, again, last Saturday was the defense was bad and the offense didn't have any sustained drives. I mean, if you have sustained drives, it takes care of everything for you because it means you're getting first downs, as Mark Whipple said.
That's what it's about.
You got to get first downs. You can't go 3 and out and 3 and out and 3 and out.
That's what it's about to me. That's what it's about.
You got to convert on offense. And
it's about first and second down too.
Yes. You just cannot go 3 and out and give the ball away. And again, if you want to slow the tempo down, if you go 3 and out, it barely changes anything. It just takes a few more seconds off the clock.
It's possible Whipple in a public appearance before the media just didn't want to show his cards and say, yeah, we're going to slow it down. Because I think you're just telling Indiana what you're going to do. Right. So maybe he's not really pushing back, so to speak. He's just not offering up very much information.
Corey Lincoln would like to address further on Mark Whipple's point, what he was saying, to say he's right.
Yeah.
He said, if the opponent is scoring at will, then slowing it down on offense does nothing for you. Slowing it down on offense only works if your defense shows up.
See, I thought that's what Whipple was sort of saying without being blunt about it. He couldn't say it like Corey said.
Yeah, he said, if we have the ball longer, does that mean they still don't score at will on offense for Oklahoma? I mean, what does that change here?
It might be 28-7 instead of 35-7.
Okay, so 7 points, you still get your butt kicked?
Right.
I mean, it was a failure on both sides of the ball. I mean, offense failed against Oklahoma. Defense failed.
This is largely, Oklahoma. Correct me if I'm wrong, this is largely just a first down discussion. If you're getting first downs on offense, it doesn't matter what pace you're. I don't know.
No. If you have sustained drives,
Right. And if you're getting off the field on defense, stopping them from the opponent from getting first downs, getting off the field on third down, which that's been a bit, obviously they have myriad problems on defense at Nebraska, but I don't know how many times have I sat in a press box this year and said, they got to get off the field on third down. You got to get off the field. Boom. Third and 10, first down. 3rd and 12, first down.
Well, yeah.
They don't have a lot of 3rd and longs either. So when they have 3rd and long, they got to close the deal. They're not getting a pass rush on 3rd and long, and they don't have very many 3rd and longs in the first place.
Right. Well, the sign of a team that's struggling is, if you can't get off the field on third down defensively and stay on the field on third down offensively, you're going to have a world of problems. And Nebraska has one win right now to show for themselves.
Yeah, but they are favored on Saturday.
For some reason, I guess the third down conversions are just going to happen on Saturday. And they're going to stop third downs against a team that likes to push the ball and pass the ball.
Yeah. Indiana, though, I mean,
again, they're not a scary team.
No.
Again, there's a reason we went into the season feeling very confident about this could be, I'm not going to should be, but could be a win for Nebraska. We all circled it as hey, this is a win. And guess what? They are circling this as a win for themselves.
I'm not doing this, by the way. I am not falling into this trap that we fell into before Oklahoma. When you pick Nebraska to beat Oklahoma.
No, hey, that was a bad decision.
And I picked a close game. Bad decision.
Both terribly wrong.
Yeah,
I was more wrong.
Terrible. And I'm not falling into this trap. I'm not picking Nebraska. I'm not falling into this trap. Not doing it. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, Indiana's not very good. Well, yeah, neither is Nebraska. So Indiana's 3-1. I mean, Indiana did beat Illinois. Okay.
Yes, they did.
It did beat Western Kentucky, which is a team that people like. I mean, Western Kentucky did beat FIU, Florida International, 73-0. That's Greg Austin. That's where Greg Austin is, by the way.
Yikes.
Oh, God, they're bad.
That's not good.
I mean, no offense to Greg.
This is not Butch Davis there anymore, right? He was there at one point, wasn't he?
I think it's Mike McIntyre.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Mike Mack, the old Colorado coach
Yeah.
at Florida International.
So, yeah, that was partly what Whip talked about. He had a funny quote, too.
Well, that's typical Whip. I saw he had his shoes on, too. Wasn't out in socks this time.
Yeah, he said he was asked about his relationship with Mickey Joseph, the interim head coach. And he said, it's great. It's a great relationship. I told him he's going to have to move his stuff out of the assistant coach's locker room so we can make fun of him when he's not in there. That's what you do, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that what we do, is make fun of our bosses when they're
all
not?
The time.
Yeah.
All the time. From the text line, this goes back to my question regarding Kansas State, how their drives against Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Texter says, every one of K-State's scoring drives was at least 7 plays, and 3 of them were 11 or 12 play drives. Sustained third down conversions.
Yep.
I mean, Adrian's long run was on what, 3rd and 16? Is that what you said? 3rd and 16?
Yeah, it's 3rd and 16.
55-yard run?
Yeah, it was 3rd and 16.
That's a heck of a third down conversion right there.
He squirted out of there. He dropped back and did what Adrian does, showed that big-time acceleration. So, yeah, Whipple talked about putting up the white flag against Oklahoma. He did in the slow it down discussion. He said it's often a feel thing and where you're at in the game. He said there's certain points where you throw the white flag up. He said that's what we did against Oklahoma.
Oh boy.
When it was 49-7, 6 minutes into the third quarter. Jake, it was 49-7, 6 minutes into the third quarter. Yeah, it's not. He's very matter of fact, but man, it's hard to hear your offensive coordinator talking about throwing the white flag up, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
You say, I don't think he cares at this point regarding what he says.
Right.
Like, he's not going out there trying to watch his words.
No, and it's very real. It's a very real.
Mark Whipple is a very real coach.
Yeah,
he's been real the whole time.
Yeah. So Chubba Purdy entered the game with 6 minutes. Excuse me. Chubba Purdy entered the game 6 minutes into the third quarter. Oklahoma was leading 49-7, white flag up. Whipple said, you've got a long season. It's not like a championship game. So we worked some other guys in there. There you go.
From Facebook, I'll put this on the stream right now. I'll read this from Brown.
Brown.
Yeah. He says, Brown says, I get the slowing down, but we need to have an offensive rhythm like Minnesota has and take these long, drawn out offensive drives that take 7 minutes or so for a score. The question is, do we have that with this offense? Now, Minnesota has an exceptional running back. I like Anthony Grant a lot. He's not Mo Ibrahim. That dude's a different level, right?
Yeah.
They also have, even though
offensive line.
They lost some good dudes in the line, but they have still a good offensive line.
That's what. Now, here's the thing. You put Anthony Grant behind Minnesota's offensive line. Are you sure that Ibrahim's that much better or better at all? I'd wonder about that.
It's a fair question to ask, but I mean that dude's good.
Oh, I know, but I think
I
think we'd be saying the same about Grant. We'd say that dude's good. That dude's good.
We are saying that about Grant. He is good.
I could say this. Somehow I've lived long enough to hear a Nebraska fan say we should run our offense like Minnesota.
Yeah, you just did, didn't you? Hear that?
You
seem a little bit frazzled by that one.
That's still the kind of thing, because I grew up when, Gus, Nebraska once scored 84 points against Minnesota, and they scored 21 points in each quarter. Get that? 21 plus 21 is 42.
Plus 21,
yeah.
63. Plus 21 is 84.
Right.
That's how math works.
And I've lived long enough to hear now a Nebraska fan say we should run it like Minnesota. It's amazing. It is.
Soon
I'm
you
not
might
joking.
Hear them say we should run it like Kansas here soon.
Right.
You might hear that.
I'm
this
not.
season.
Yeah, I'm not. This is not me being facetious. This is amazing.
Well, as you know, everything works in cycles here.
I guess
Everything's cyclical.
not everything. Not everything.
Even Alabama was down for a little stretch with Mike Shula.
Yeah,
Mike Shula.
Yeah,
Remember
and
that?
they had some other guys that weren't all overly successful besides Shula. I hate to hear you pick on Shula, especially with the Miami Dolphins.
But he's not done.
You have a Miami Dolphins vest on, and you're taking the Shula name in a bad vein.
No, just Mike. Mike.
That's a Shula.
Mike is not done.
But that's a Shula.
That was with the Dolphins.
And there are others that
Different
struggled with the Bama.
Yes. But it's hard to remember that now because they've been so good for so long.
Okay.
We should say it was cyclical there. They did have us down stretch.
We should get into what Bush said too. Bill Bush, who started his session, he's very upbeat. Hey, by the way, for those who really lock in hard on things like opening statements and the importance of those in this world, Bush's opening statement yesterday was 5 minutes long. What if Frosty would have came out in the Big Ten Media Day with a 5-minute opening statement? Would that have solved everything?
No. But it would have been interesting.
Yeah, Frost with a 5-minute opening statement would have been fascinating.
I do have one clip from Bill Bush yesterday.
Well, does it happen to be his opening statement
about how they've been through a lot?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got part of that one, about 45 seconds of that. Here's Bill Bush yesterday after practice.
Wow.
That's it.
These players, it's just incredible how they work, how they come to practice every day, their character. Guys, they've been through a lot. There's been some lack of success. There's been changes of coaches at the head coach level, the defensive coordinator level. There's been tough losses. There's been some rough half times, all those sides, sometimes on one side of the ball, other side of the ball. Wow, have these players responded like that? And there never was a time before either that they didn't do that. So I can't tell you how proud I am to be a coach at Nebraska, to be able to coach these players, because they are ridiculous on how hard they try and what they do. Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
From Bill Bush.
And that was, listen, I mean, that's what Mickey's doing. And Bill's his lieutenant. I've told you they're pumping. Okay, I know what you're going to say, but they're pumping.
What am I going to say? Say it for. Just go ahead and say it for me.
Yeah, that's what coaches do. They're supposed to pump confidence into their players.
You've listened well over the years. I'm proud of you.
But that's what they're doing, and it makes sense. And I imagine that the players have. I think they've probably responded well. Bush talked also about sort of his plan. He said the first thing we've worked on is how to get lined up fast and how to play as simple as we can. Now, he did say, too, I'd love to play one defense. Everyone in the country would love to play just one defense. It's not practical, though. So, yeah, they're going to simplify, but you can't overdo that. Chinander, one thing we haven't talked about with Bush, and I think you'd agree with this. I was talking to a defensive coach yesterday. I have to do that thing, tunnel talk, so I have to get a lot of behind-the-scenes type stuff. This defensive coach said Chinander's blitz package was incredibly predictable and just he just kind of did the same blitz no matter what the look. That's what now.
No, that's fair. I mean, I hate to always bring it back to this, but I watched on Sunday the Miami Dolphins play the Buffalo Bills. They had a lot of blitzes, and there's a ton of different ones. It was a cornerback blitz. It was a safety blitz. It was a kind of a stunt there. It was a delayed blitz.
And it was probably dependent on what they saw.
Right, but they changed it up. I mean, right. Yeah, that's right. I don't remember seeing any time soon or recently a cornerback blitz by Nebraska.
Oh, they did. They brought
one?
Yeah, I think they brought Newsome against Northwestern.
Okay.
But I get what
a successful one, where
they don't get home very often.
Like, wow, that was shocking.
Do you notice on their blitzes they don't get home?
No, they don't get home.
I mean,
because they're predictable.
Yeah. Do you notice how often? I mean, it's often 6-on-6, and there's 6 offensive guys, and they pick up the 5th guy.
So now you're screwed in the secondary because you didn't get home. Then.
Right. Oftentimes you see it. Here comes the inside linebacker. Nope, didn't get through anything. No, you know what I'm saying? I've seen it too many times. Yeah. Here comes the inside linebacker. Boom, stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Stuffed. Yeah. I mean, because nothing was that creative. It was very predictable.
Like you said. And I don't like to do this to Eric Chinander. I don't like to go back and criticize him in hindsight. I don't. But there's a certain inevitability to the discussion. He got fired in mid-season, so we're talking about his replacement and what his replacement's trying to do and what his replacement should try to do. There's just, you can't really get around it. And Eric got fired for a reason. I mean, they were awful.
Yeah, it was bad defense.
It's hard to get fired in the middle of the season. It's hard.
You got to do something really, really bad.
Yeah.
Really wrong.
Yeah.
And Nebraska's defense has been pitiful. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. It's been pitiful this season.
Yeah, there's nothing you can really point to that and say that's been good. And I was dead wrong. I mean, I like to point out when you're dead wrong. You could hammer me pretty hard on the pass rush. I said I think I guaranteed they'd have a good pass rush.
You did. You said Garrett Nelson plus O'Shawn Mathis plus Caleb Tanner would provide a good pass rush, and wet blanket's been the hardest on anybody in the text line because he saw this coming. So Sip's guaranteed it. Guaranteed doesn't happen.
Nothing.
It's been pitiful.
It's just like a firecracker you light and it doesn't do anything.
It's just a dud.
It just fizzles.
Yep.
You got that big 1.5-incher and you're ready for a big pop and it doesn't do anything. And then you light another one and it doesn't do anything. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Maybe they got wet or something. I don't know.
It's a thunderstorm outside apparently.
But they're not getting, well, some of it is they're not getting very many 3rd and longs. They're failing on 1st and 2nd down. So they're not getting a lot. But even when they get 3rd and long, they're not getting home. Sometimes it's not even close.
Well, on that note, someone who was a very good linebacker at Nebraska, Terrell Farley, has chimed in.
Farley.
He's on the text line.
What's he saying?
He says this: why blitz when you have slow linebackers?
Says one of the fastest linebackers we've ever seen.
If he says it probably makes a lot of sense because he was fast.
I wonder what T. Farley, he had to love watching Demario Williams.
I loved watching Demario Williams.
Those guys are the guys I think about. Well, there's a lot of great linebackers I think about in Nebraska, but the fast, havoc-wreaking.
Well, Levante David was fast too. About him.
There you go.
That guy was pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Not the biggest guy, right? Not the biggest.
Those three. But remember, wasn't it Bo that moved Demario Williams up to the line of scrimmage and had him come off the edge?
Was Bo still here that time? I thought Demario was gone by that time.
03?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. 03. Okay.
When
Yeah.
he came as
I
defensive
was talking.
coordinator.
I said when Bo was head coach. Tomorrow
No.
was way gone.
Yeah, when he came as defensive coordinator.
That's possible. Yeah, in 03.
Yeah, and they put DeMario Williams' hand in the dirt sometimes. Maybe Terrell would remember that.
Gary says yes, it was that year.
Okay.
Yep.
And he would come off the edge, and he was really good at that.
Sure he was. He's a great player.
Yeah.
Great player. Let's get a call from Vince on the Honda of Lincoln hotline, 464-5685. Vince, you're on early break. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, fellas. How are you?
Well, it's great to hear your voice, Vince.
Oh, thank you. I thought one of the more humorous quotes from Whipple was, and I saw it on Twitter, that Mitch Sherman had tweeted out. It said, Whipple said something to the effect of how, well, his neighbors are still waving at him.
Yeah.
Well, I would say this, as long as they're waving 5 fingers and not 1.
Oh, wow, Vince.
Hello. Hello.
Vince.
Well,
Vince.
Well,
what neighbor does that?
Well, I'm being facetious. You got to understand, this is the truck driver and me talking, because
Sure.
more often than not, when I'm on the road, when somebody waves at me, it's usually 1 finger and not 5.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
So it's all in the context, fellas.
Yeah.
But as far as this whole dichotomy of, slow it down, up tempo this and tempo that, I mean, I don't disagree that a slower tempo can serve its purpose. But I think a lot of people can get the wrong idea when they think slow it down. When they think slow it down, some people automatically think that means going into a shell. Well, it doesn't have to mean going into a shell. It just means being more pragmatic and a little more methodical. I look at it as, be a run first team, and then and set up the pass with the run, as opposed to the other way around, because I'm a firm believer in that, yes, the game has become more pass oriented, but there's also nothing that can break an opponent like monopolizing the ball. But but I'm with you as far as, not scoring too soon. That is the biggest load of nonsense that I've ever heard, because what football coach do you know that designs a play? Hey, Sip, I'm designing this play to gain 4 yards. Hell no. Every play is designed to get in the end zone.
Yes.
Yes. And that's what it's about. But it ultimately comes down to getting first downs. Now, on the defensive side, relevant to Coach Bush, getting lined up right and getting lined up right soon, that would be the first place to start. But more than anything on defense, the improvement that I want to see is this. I mean, and I agree with you as far as the whole down and distance thing. But what I want to see more than anything is, because the whole role of a defensive player is, number one, you obviously do your job, as Bill Belichick likes to say. But once you do your job, go get the damn football.
Mm-hmm.
Go get the damn football and do it with some damn authority.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll see what happens, because now that we've had a bye week and to address the fundamentals, which to me was long overdue, because, yes, these guys are D1 players and they should know the fundamentals, but individual sessions with your position coach serve a purpose at every level. I mean, imagine I'm a position coach and I say, hey, Sipple, you're stepping the wrong way on this read. Hey, Sorensen, you rounded off that post route. I need a sharper cut. That way, if you're doing something wrong fundamentally, your position coach can address it then and there. But you know what, fellas?
Yeah.
We've had a bye week.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to hit the reset button, regardless of what happens the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time to get a win. And it's time to get a win this week.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to know something, Sip?
What?
Come 6:30 Central Time.
Okay.
That means one thing.
What's that?
When it's time to kick off, it's time to kick off. Let's go.
Okay. Keep in mind.
Thank you, Vince.
Thank you, Vince. One sort of element in this discussion that confounds me. Bush was never in defensive meetings. He's had to learn their terminology.
Oh boy.
He's learned their terminology, that's fine. But it confounds me that Bush was never in a defensive meeting. Now, he wasn't a defensive coach. He's a special teams coordinator. But with his background, coached a Thorpe Award winner, worked for Dave Aranda, worked for Urban Meyer, worked with Kyle Whittingham, coached safeties for a long time. Was a defensive coordinator at Utah State, and co-defensive coordinator at Rutgers. Wouldn't you seek some knowledge from that sort of guy?
I would think maybe you would.
They never did, which is fine. Bill doesn't complain about that.
There are people gone for a reason here.
Right. But he doesn't, he did say he just said it in passing yesterday that he wasn't in those defensive meetings. I'm just like,
I don't understand. Yes, you're a special teams guy, but you also have experience with the defense with some great coaches and great programs.
Right. And he has a good track record.
A lot of things don't make sense around here. They really don't.
They don't.
The things that seem like they should be just a given or just duh aren't duh where they should be.
No, and this is all hindsight, so we have the benefit of hindsight. But football at Nebraska, what it's taught me largely are two things. First of all, and I know what you're going to say. Well, yeah, but there's no guarantees here. There's never a guarantee. There's no guarantee on Saturday, really. There's none. And that's what we've learned, which is good. I like that part. The second thing is you'll never convince me that football is a simple game. It's simple. No, it's not. It's very complicated. There's a lot of moving parts, so many levers, so many people involved. And it's hard to get it all going. Like, it's hard to get that machine rolling every week. And the teams that do it, like Alabama, that do it at that level are something to behold. That's why, yeah, thank you. That's why I like watching Alabama. That's why I like watching Georgia. That's why I like watching Ohio State. Those are machines, Jake.
Yes, they are.
They don't have major breakdowns. Not very often, right? Not they do because it's football, but not very often.
Very rarely.
Yeah.
We'll send you out to Coolio to break. We'll have more next. An early break at the ticket.
Really hate the trip, but I gotta low. As they croak, I see myself in the pistol smoke. Fool, I'm the kind of G the little homies wanna be like, on my knees in the night, saying prayers in the street light. Been staying most of the night, living in the gangster's paradise. Been standing most of the night, living in the gangster's.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Bauer Infrastructure is a new name from a well-established brand, and they're paving the way to progress. And they're hiring. Bauer Infrastructure is hiring truck drivers, carpenters, truck mechanics, and equipment operators. And they have industry-leading benefits to maintain a work-life balance. Bauer offers paid time off and paid holidays, a matching 401k plan, medical, dental, vision, life, and disability insurance, a clothing allowance, and more. Start your new career today by applying at BauerInfrastructure.com.
The price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. And in most cases, same-day replacement. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111.
They say one great thing leads to another. And that's especially true when you visit a Great Clips salon. When you sit down for a haircut with the skilled and friendly stylist at one of our thousands of convenient Great Clips locations, they'll not only make your hair look great, they'll make you feel great too. And that's something you can't help but share with the world. Download our online check-in app today and opt in to get a ready next text when you're up next. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Breakfast tacos, brisket tacos, pork tacos, chicken tacos. You hungry yet? I can keep going. Pork or chicken, queso nachos, queso mac and cheese, hatch mac burritos. Now you're salivating. Muchachos is Lincoln's premier New Mexico barbecue fusion restaurant. You can't miss them in their bright blue building. Pair that great food with delicious coffee for breakfast and a variety of local and national beers on tap the rest of the day. Order your food online at yomuchacho.com or visit them in person at Muchachos on South 11th Street between L and K Streets.
It's time again for Lincoln's Best Oktoberfest, the 7th annual Piedmont Oktoberfest, October 8th from 5 to 11 p.m. Enjoy dozens of beers, amazing local food, live music, costume contests, stein holding contests, yodeling, and more, with tickets starting at only $33. Live music by the B Street Band, provided by Aloe Fiber, and safe rides home, provided by Z-Trip and the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office. Get your tickets today at the shopsatpiedmont.com. Use promo code THETICKET to receive 10% off your complete order. It's the Piedmont Oktoberfest, the shopsatpiedmont.com.
Join us on Fridays from 2 to 6 on the rooftop at Barry's as we get you ready for Saturday's game on the block with Eric Strickland and Nate Brennan, followed by Old School with Jay Foreman and DP this Friday from 2 to 6 at Barry's on 9th and Q.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Mild and breezy conditions here for our Thursday, topping out with a high of 78. South winds could gust over 20 at times, with just a few passing clouds. Heading into tonight, we'll keep a little bit of cloud cover around the region, a low down to around 53. Warm and breezy again tomorrow. South winds gusting over 20 with a high of 82. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us.
Women who fought for their own financial futures.
And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
We're on the air.
Back
Well, party's starting early today, isn't it?
to more of Early Break with Sip and Jay, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Did you see yesterday that Northwestern built a new stadium? Look, at least proposing a new stadium, Sim?
I saw it on Twitter.
You know what it looks just like Aviva Stadium.
Yeah, it kind of does. With that dip in it?
It looks exactly like Aviva Stadium. It's like, well, that's our last win we had. Just go build a stadium just like that.
Did I read right that it was like a 37,000?
Yeah, I think it's 35,000. Somewhere between 35 to 37,000.
That's fascinating.
Tiny.
That's fascinating. I'll always remember. I know this is a strange thing to always remember, but I do remember this very vividly, going up to Minneapolis and seeing TCF Bank Stadium for the first time. And I was like, oh, when they building the rest of it.
What's the capacity of that stadium?
It's enough. You can look that up. Look it up.
Guess?
Yeah, I'd guess 57,000 is my guess. Maybe 59,000. And I was struck by two things: how handsome it is. Like when you walk up to it, it's a handsome complex.
50,000. 50,805.
50.
But okay. It has capacity that is expandable up to 80,000.
I don't get that.
I don't either.
I have no idea what that means.
That's per the stadiums of profootball.com.
I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, it says, but 50,805 horseshoe style stadium.
I don't know how could you get 30,000 more in there?
The record attendance is 54,000. They've got to 54.
What does that mean? I mean, it can't get to 80.
I don't know.
There's no way.
I don't know what the expandable part is here.
Yeah, I don't
either. But it says 50.
Gus has got him.
Well, capacity, they've never gotten more than 54,000.
But it's a smaller stadium is what I was trying to say. It's small. It's strikingly small. If you're used to Memorial Stadium and stadiums like that, monoliths, if you're used to those, then you walk up on TCF Bank.
Okay.
Oh, take away
That's possible.
Yeah.
For a concert, maybe.
Yeah, for a concert.
Okay.
Okay. If you walk up on it, you're like, wow, that is really a little stadium compared to what we're used to.
Well, I've been outside of it. Yeah, it's nice though.
It's very handsome. Very handsome. So yeah, Northwestern, I am a proponent of smaller stadiums in this world. Just if now it depends on the school, of course, how small you want to go, but Northwestern can go that small.
Yes, they can. Nebraska cannot go.
No, they couldn't go that small, but Nebraska could go to 75.
Yes, they could.
I think.
No,
now,
they could use 75.
You're you have a better business sense than I do. If you go too small, how many people are you turning
75
away?
75 is not small.
But how many don't yell. How many people are you turning away?
I mean, just raise the ticket prices. They're gonna go.
Oh, just raise the ticket prices.
Well, increase the demand for it, right?
I guess.
Because right now you got people just giving tickets away. It's just there's too many people that don't really want to go right now. If Nebraska reduces capacity, we've talked about this. It's not just the losing that's affecting stadium.
Right.
It's the fact that it's easier to watch it at home. It's cheaper.
There's a lot of factors.
You're in your own environment. It's there's no wind. There's no rain. It's not too hot. It's not too cold.
Right.
It's perfect.
Yeah, we understand. Let's talk about Lane Kiffin.
Yes, Lane Kiffin yesterday was kind of the flavor of the week for I guess flavor of the day for Nebraska fans in terms of who's next in our little circle of coaches here we can look at. Well, Lane Kiffin wasn't too happy about the attendance issues at Ole Miss, and he talked about that yesterday. Here's Lane Kiffin on the lack of attendance at Ole Miss home games.
Tunnel, and it looks like, high school, and you run out the tunnel, and it looks like, a high school game playing in a college stadium. You can't let that affect you. I mean, there's psychology to that, obviously. There's a home field advantage for a reason. And, when it goes the other way, you kind of have that feeling, that, man, are we still really playing in a game here? The players have to fight that. So, again, we use that as a learning lesson for our guys. So, if that's the case, that's the case. But, I mean, I'm worried about what I can control. I've tried social media in here for 2 years. So, we'll worry about what we can control, and that's getting our players ready to play.
Lane Kiffin, not exactly thrilled about his attendance for home games at Ole Miss right now. Now, I think that people also got a little confused yesterday, Sip. I think people need a little bit of a help in what, the dictionary description for a word, because the word rebuff, I don't think that Nebraska fans understand what the word rebuff means. Do you know what the word rebuff means?
If I rebuff you, you say, Sip, let's go play tennis. And I say, I'm never playing tennis. I rebuffed you.
Okay.
I rebuffed you.
So yesterday, again, Lane Kiffin mentions Nebraska in a tweet. There was an article that said that Mark Stoops and Lane Kiffin should be options that Nebraska considers for their job. Now, Lane Kiffin posted this link and put the words, I'll get the exact tweet he had here, because people from Nebraska retweeted this saying, oh my God, Lane Kiffin wants to go to Nebraska. And the tweet is actually the opposite of that. Okay, it said this: Lane Kiffin and Mark Stoops should rebuff the Nebraska job.
Yeah, that means reject.
Exactly. I think people understand what the word rebuff means.
You don't think they do?
They don't understand. If you look at the replies, they say, "Oh my God, Lane Kiffin's interested."
No, rebuff.
I would say, do you understand what the word rebuff means?
Rebuff is the equivalent of stiff arming the discussion.
Yes.
Rebuff means to turn away.
Yeah, this is from the Clarion Ledger. It says, forget Auburn and Nebraska. Lane Kiffin and Mark Stoops should, he says, and Lane Kiffin says, Lane Kiffin and Mark Stoops should rebuff Auburn football or Nebraska.
Now
that would say he's not interested.
He retweeted that?
Yes, he put out a link to that. And he put the link, and then he put his own comments at the top of the tweet.
That said,
Lane Kiffin and Mark Stoops should rebuff Auburn football or Nebraska.
Rebuff. Dictionary.
Where
don't know which dictionary, but this is what the dictionary says. Reject someone or something in an abrupt or ungracious manner. I asked her to be my wife and was rebuffed in no uncertain terms. Rebuffed.
Yes.
Lane Kiffin does not make a lot of sense to me as Nebraska's coach, even though I like him and I think he's a good head coach. In fact, Ole Miss's 10 wins last year tied a program record. He's at a place where 10 wins ties a program record. He's doing well. They're nationally ranked right now. They're 4-0. They play Ole Miss Saturday. Why doesn't he fit? If you listen to Trev, he doesn't. Trev's comments don't line up with someone like Kiffin. Except I would say this: Ole Miss ranks 4th in the country in rushing offense right now.
Didn't know that. It's a good stat.
Ole Miss ranks 4th in the country in rushing offense. But when you don't think, like, what has Trev said? He's looking for the program to be a line of scrimmage, be strong at the line of scrimmage, be a physical program. That's not what I think of when I think of Lane. He's a quarterback whisperer. Okay. Now he, again, fourth
in the nation in rushing.
Right. But he doesn't. I'm afraid Lane Kiffin would be the type that, not by his doing, but he'd be a little bigger than the program type coach. Now we're
it's Urban Meyer.
Well, and we espouse Urban Meyer. That would be a problem. I believe that would be a problem with Urban.
Yeah, but the difference is that Urban has been there and done that at a bigger level than Lane Kiffin. Now, Lane Kiffin has been an NFL coach, failed. USC coach, failed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Urban's won. That's why when you talk about who's bigger than the program, Urban Meyer, to me, is more acceptable than Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
Because he's done bigger things than Lane Kiffin has, and they still could be both viewed as bigger than the program.
It's fascinating when you think of Mark Stoops, and Lane Kiffin. They're the best coaches Stoops is. How many guys can say they're the best coach at their school in 70 years? I mean, that's what Stoops is. You got to go back to Bear Bryant. Yep. Okay. You got to go back to Bear Bryant at Kentucky. Lane, who's been better at Ole Miss? I mean, I don't know about 70 years, but many years. Many
better. I know that's the only thing I can
many years. I mean, Lane, his dad, Monty Kiffin, coached here, defensive coordinator. His brother, Chris, coached here on Bo's staff as a GA type. So there's history. And I would be intrigued by it, but I don't think this is what you need right now, Lane Kiffin.
No, you're a Lane Kiffin fan.
A big Lane Kiffin fan.
But you don't think he's a good fit.
It doesn't make sense. I'm going to bring up something that's a little weird. But I wonder about this part of it. He's single. Could that work in a fishbowl like Lincoln? Would that be okay?
I don't know. I don't think
Does that matter?
I don't think it matters that much to me.
Okay. I bring it up because I wondered.
It's Coolio Day.
I feel like today when I'm starting to go down a path you're uncomfortable with.
No, it's break time. It's 6:48.
Just start playing Coolio.
No, again,
it's not a bad idea.
All of our outros today are Coolio because he passed away yesterday. This is Fantastic Voyage. We'll send it a break and bring back Rick Heyman's Song of the Day next on an early break on the ticket.
Ain't no gripping, ain't no punk ass that tripping. Everybody got a stack and it ain't no crap. And it really don't matter if you're white or black. I wanna take you there like a staple says. Put something in the tank and I know that I can bring it. If you can't take the heat, get your ass out the kitchen. We on a mission.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. Summer is here, and that means you're having garage parties with neighbors, hitting the golf course and the pool. The drink of this summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors for 4-packs, 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and berry. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD at 84th and Andermatt and TrekCBD.com. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
Look at your car. It's filthy and probably has a few dings and nicks all over it. Don't be that guy. Get it upgraded and repaired at Renew Your Auto. At Renew Your Auto, they offer tons of services: ceramic coating, window tinting, paintless dent repair, washes and details, bed liners, body shop, and more. Where can you go to get services like that all in one place? Schedule your appointment today at RenewYourAuto.com. See what Renew can do for you.
If
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln. Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Join us on Friday from 2 to 6 on the rooftop at Barry's as we get you ready for Saturday's game on the block with Eric Strickland and Nate Brennan, followed by Old School with Jay Foreman and DP this Friday from 2 to 6 at Barry's on 9th and Q.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com. Tractor Supply is looking for full-time team members for their Waverly Distribution Center. Applicants can expect a 3- and 4-day work week schedule with additional overtime days with both day and night shift schedules available. Stand-up forklift and high-reach forklift experience is a plus for open positions, but they're willing to train for those without experience. At Tractor Supply, they work hard, have fun, and make money. Apply today at tractorsupply.jobs.
At Venue Catering and Events, we offer 2 of the most historic ballrooms in Lincoln. The Jasmine Room located in the historic Grand Manse in the heart of downtown, featuring a beautiful built-in antique bar, spacious patio, and soaring skylit ceilings. The Scottish Rite Ballroom, located just 2 blocks from the state's capital, boasts intricate hand-carved columns, rich dark wood floors, and lavish chandeliers. The perfect venues to host your wedding, corporate event, or much more. For availability and more information, call us at 402-603-6483.
Move over, Jake.
I'm moving. Jeez.
Thursdays are reserved for a man with a wider range of music knowledge than Jake could ever dream of.
This is the golden era. You would hear this on any radio station. You know, it wasn't like it is now.
Okay.
You know, you got country, you got R&B, you got pop, you got rap, you got rock. They didn't have that then. You heard everything.
A man who knows a good song when he hears it, just as much as a good diamond when he sees it.
You get a diamond!
Yes, I do get a diamond. I get a diamond, and that makes me happy.
It's time for Rick Heyman's Song of the Day, sponsored by Sartor Heyman Jewelers, on Early Break on 93.7 The Ticket.
Remember when the days were long and rolled beneath the deep blue sky? Didn't have a care in the world, with mommy and daddy standing by. But happily ever after fails, and we've been poisoned by these fairy tales. Lawyers dwell on small details, since daddy had to fly. Now that I know a place where we can go, still untouched by men. So watch the clouds roll by, the tall grass waves in the wind. You can lay your head back on the ground, let your hair fall all around you. Offer up your best defense. This is the end. This is the end of the innocent.
Because it is Rick's Day, I'm playing that song. It feels Coolio. No, Coolio did pass away. He's getting all my outros today. But today's song of the day is a beautiful song, The End of the Innocence by Don Henley. 464-56851 1 is bad, 10 is good. Text your rating on Rick Heyman's Song of the Day.
Skies, now those skies are threatening. They're beating plowshares into swords for this tired old man that we elected king.
Once again, your song of the day, The End of the Innocence by Don Henley, 464-568-51 is bad, 10 is good. Text your rating on Rick Heyman, Sauter Heyman, Jeweler's Song of the Day.
You said it, Jake. It's beautiful. I don't know what to say.
How can you dislike that song?
That's ridiculous. I mean, I guess you could make fun of, I don't know how.
It's a great song.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like it's a gem. It's not really my style either, but I like it. I think it's an incredible song. I think it's an incredible song. Like those kind of songs that kind of artwork is, you just realize that person who wrote and sang it and composed it is just on another level than most people. They're in that weird percentile, and that's why they're fabulously wealthy. I mean, there's not many people that could do that. Very few that could do that. Don Henley. And the Eagles have a lot of songs like that. Tequila Sunrise comes to mind, like where you listen to it and you're sort of mesmerized by how beautiful it is.
Like Desperado.
Good one, Jake. That's a good one. Yeah, those are ridiculous songs. That's a ridiculous song. 9.8.
Ooh, how do you go higher than that?
Yeah.
I was going to say there's no way that I go lower than you. I'm going to go the same rating.
Yeah.
I can't go 9.9.
Yeah,
but 9.8 is really good.
Yeah.
9.8 for both of us today. Do you have a rating over there, Gus? Gus, 8.8. Very high ratings today. A little different than Little Feat from last week. We like that one a lot better. Rick, good morning. Good song today.
Well, good morning, gentlemen. Great ratings. Thank you for that.
Thank you for playing that, Rick.
That is not a meandering song.
No,
it's not. It's a beautiful song.
And by the way, Coolio, R.I.P.
Yes.
I actually helped him one time.
Whoa.
In the jewelry business when I lived in California way back when. He came in and was looking at engagement rings. He was a really nice guy.
Whoa.
Coolio?
Really?
Yeah, he was a great dude. Yeah, he was really a nice dude.
I'm not surprised he's a nice dude. Listen to his songs.
Yeah.
There's an element of humor and kindness to a lot of those lyrics.
Was he easy to work with, Rick? Did he buy?
Yes, he was just pain-free, as they say.
Okay.
Nice.
Pain-free. Yeah, he's just real easy guy to work with. So Don Henley, hey, the end of the Innocents. I picked this week because I think it's kind of appropriate in Huskerville. This is the anti-Kool-Aid song, I guess. And I'm a victim of the Kool-Aid. We all are. But here we are, the sellout streaks at stake. Everything's crazy. It's a great song. What are you going to say?
It is.
Don Henley, of course, for the Eagles. For our younger fans that don't know, in his solo career, he wrote and sang Dirty Laundry, The Boys of Summer, All She Wants to Do Is Dance, The Heart of the Matter, The Last Worthless Evening, Sunset Grill, Not Enough Love in the World, and The End of the Innocents. The Eagles, as a group, has sold over 150 million albums worldwide, 17 top 40 singles, 6 number one albums, and of course, then this is Henley by himself after they broke up in 1980. But, these guys, the Eagles, started out when Don Henley was asked to be in Linda Ronstadt's backup band. And that's where he met Glenn Fry, the other part of the Eagles. And they were joined by Randy Meisner, who's a Nebraskan, still lives here, Bernie Leadon, and then they ended up forming this group, the Eagles. And, of course, this is after the Eagles, Henley. But they're among the top 5 overall best-selling bands of all time in American history. Henley and Fry have been called the American version of Lennon McCartney. I wouldn't dispute that one bit. Incredibly talented, not very good live if you've ever seen them. Very boring. They were here a couple years ago in Lincoln before Fry died, and it was a little bit of a sleepy concert. But
they're
the songs
easy
were great.
listening. That's why they're easy listening. And it's hard to be upbeat when you're easy listening.
Yeah. So with that in mind, I got some stuff to sippers.
Okay, I'm ready.
Lock in.
Oh, Okay, is Don Henley under or over 74 years old? Older or younger?
Yeah, got it. Older or younger than 74, Don Henley. Older. He's older.
You get a diamond. He's 75.
Close.
One. Good work.
Close.
10 years older than me. 10 years older than me.
Okay.
Is his middle name Hugh, Hank, or Barney?
What was the first choice? First one? Hugh?
Hugh.
Oh, Hugh.
Hank, or Barney?
Hugh, Hank, or Barney?
None of them sound particularly good. I'd say Hank.
You're gonna see Z. It's Hugh.
Hugh. Don Hugh. That doesn't sound too bad, I guess.
Hugh Henley?
Don Hugh Henley. Not too bad.
Weird. Double H.
And has he won any personal Grammy awards? Yes or no?
Since you're asking, I'm going to say no.
You get another CZ. He's won 2, including for this song.
Oh boy, that's a bad. I'm sorry. Hey, okay, you got another one?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, I got a question. This is an important question. You say Randy Meisner still lives in Nebraska?
Kimball, Nebraska. Yes, on a ranch.
Randy Meisner lives in Kimball, Nebraska?
Yes.
Wow. Do you know him?
No, I don't know him, but when he quit the Eagles, did you ever see that documentary about them?
I did not.
Well, look it up. It's fantastic about how they got going and then how they broke up and all that. Meisner was one of the reasons. Well, Meisner couldn't sing Take It to the Limit anymore because it blew his voice out so bad. He had that super high voice.
Yeah, it's a high song.
So they brought in Timothy B. Schmidt after him, the long-haired guy from Poco.
Okay.
And so anyway, he left and he was done and that was it. And he moved back to Nebraska. And as far as I know, he's still out there on a ranch.
I'll be darned. Thank you. Thank
Rick,
you.
what's
That's
going on
great
right now
knowledge.
at Sartor Heyman Jewelers, Rick?
Well, we have our Yeti coolers still till the end of the month. What is today? Today's the 29th. You got 2 days left, today and tomorrow. Come in, spend at least $1,500. You're going to get a Yeti cooler for free. These are the real deals, not the knockoffs. Get her the diamond she wants and get yourself that cool deal, that Yeti cooler. Get her diamonds from Sartor Heyman. We're located in Lincoln and Grand Island. Check us out at sartorheyman.com and on Facebook at Sartor Heyman, and I'll post more stuff on my personal Facebook page at Rick Heyman about Don Henley.
Well, Rick, always good stuff. Thank you for the time. We will chat with you again next week.
Bye-bye.
There he goes, Rick Heyman of Sartor Heyman Jewelers.
Boy, show's just flying by.
It is. It usually does. Rick had End of the Innocence. I'm playing all Coolio outros today. So when we come back, Mike Schaefer, top of the hour, an early break in the ticket.
More temptation and faith, I guess we're living for the day. I seen a man get swept off his feet by over the
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com. Breakfast tacos, brisket tacos, pork tacos, chicken tacos. You hungry yet? I can keep going. Pork or chicken, queso nachos, queso mac and cheese, hatch mac burritos. Now you're salivating. Muchachos is Lincoln's premier New Mexico barbecue fusion restaurant. And you can't miss them in their bright blue building. Pair that great food with delicious coffee for breakfast and a variety of local and national beers on tap the rest of the day. Order your food online at yomuchacho.com or visit them in person at Muchachos on South 11th Street between L and K Streets.
You're getting lots of steps in this fall between going to football and volleyball games. Are your shoes getting worn out? For the rest of September, when you stop by Brown Shoe Fit, you can take an additional 20% off the men's clearance rack sale price. The clearance rack has your favorite brands like Brooks, New Balance, Clarks, and more. Hurry in for the best selection in your size. The sale ends September 30th, so hurry in now for 20% off all shoes on the men's clearance rack at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's Fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. Summer is here, and that means you're having garage parties with neighbors, hitting the golf course and the pool. The drink of this summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors for 4-packs, 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and berry. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD at 84th and Andermatt and TrekCBD.com. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
Tractor Supply is looking for full-time team members for their Waverly Distribution Center. Applicants can expect a 3- and 4-day work week schedule with additional overtime days with both day and night shift schedules available. Stand-up forklift and high-reach forklift experience is a plus for open positions, but they're willing to train for those without experience. At Tractor Supply, they work hard, have fun, and make money. Apply today at tractorsupply.jobs.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Hello, everybody. I'm Charlie Stone, and joining me in just a moment is Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. But before I bring Andy on, I need to tell you about something that really got my attention. Just the other day, I saw on television Andy announcing that in the last 50 years, they had sold and serviced close to 100,000 vehicles.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, actually, the number would be a lot higher if we add in how many repeat customers we have for service and that come back to buy cars from us over and over and over again.
Now, Andy, tell everybody about your special offer.
Well, as most people know, always trade for vehicles, but now we're offering for people to come in and sell us their cars. We're ready to buy, bring it on in, whether it's a year old or a few years old, and we'll pay them cash that same day. It'll be hassle-free, and we'll do it the Honda of Lincoln way.
Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of buying cars, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
up, Lincoln.
Come on, it's 6 o'clock. Rise and shine, rise and shine.
It's time for Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Here's 93.7 The Ticket's Jake Sorensen.
Did seem kind of meh.
And Steve Sipple.
Surprisingly good.
This is Early Break with Sip and Jake, sponsored by Gaina Trucking.
Welcome back to Hour 2 on a Thursday. Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, Early Break. The show sponsored by Gaina Trucking. You could always watch on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. Call, text 402-464-5685. Mike Schaefer of 24/7 Sports is in the house this morning, as he is every Thursday. Hello, Schaefer. How we doing?
Do you get? I don't know. Do you get angry? I always say
I get angry.
I
don't know what about, but I get angry.
We know Schaefer.
I say 247 Sports.
People say it either way.
Okay,
I'm good with it.
247.
What do you
Brunch
call
will admonish me if I say top 247 instead of top 24/7, I think, or top 247, whatever the recruiting thing is of it. I don't know. I mean, I've said it all the different ways. The only sort of like pet peeve I have with it is when people put the slash in there between the 24 and the 7.
Oh,
because like the branding seems pretty obvious to me,
right?
But and then you'll see like professional journalists do it. It's kind of like you should know.
Yeah.
It's not that
Professional
difficult.
journalists. Yeah.
I don't know. It was like someone from the New York Times wrote a story once. And it's like, aren't you supposed to be? Don't we learn and we hold you in high regard, and your fact checkers like
Just let it go.
completely missed on this?
There's no slash. Come on.
I wish, Jake, you don't admonish me enough. I don't get admonished enough. People don't.
What do you want
Why
me to
are you
admonish you
creating
on?
your own game of whack-a-mole in which you're the mole?
People, I don't get admonished enough.
What would you like me to admonish you on? Give me some
There's
examples.
a lot
here.
of things. Like earlier today, I said, Jake, don't interrupt me.
He did say that.
It's hard to be admonished when you're the one admonishing.
Yeah. Then I interrupted. Yeah.
But I interrupt him all the time, and I had to.
I interrupted you then. That point after that.
Yeah.
If you think of it in a certain light, it's not interrupting. You're just guiding and shaping.
I just wish I was admonished more.
Well, we can make that happen. It's not often that people
Spend
ask
enough
to
time
be
around
admonished.
me, I'll admonish you.
It's not often that people ask for that in their lives, but here we are. Apparently,
You get admonished a lot
all the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely, My life is that.
So you do it, it just rolls off the back.
Yeah, it doesn't even bother me. It's like whatever. Yeah,
Because
sure.
I've always been struck by that about Jake. Anyway,
nothing phases
hey,
me.
something Heyman said Mike would be interested in. He just said it in passing. Rick Heyman. He said, I'm a victim of the Kool-Aid. Are we all victims of the Kool-Aid a little bit?
For this specific year?
Yeah, I
or
guess.
For the last?
It doesn't have to be this year, but
decade
we're all victims of the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I also feel like there was a lot of this early on after Frost was fired, and I'm not sure how you guys feel about it, but there's always this sort of like, oh, you guys told us, you guys in the media, told us that this team was going to be great, and I had 6-6, and the entire offseason was worried about the offensive line. Don't think they can stop the run.
And
And
I wasn't that, but I was worried about the offensive line.
We were worried about the stop on the run. They had 3 new defensive linemen.
I mean, the one thing I will say that I was completely and unequivocally wrong on is I thought the secondary, talent-wise, was going to be strong enough to overcome the inexperience, and that has not played out in that fashion. Part of that is no unit on the defense looks good, and when nobody looks good, everyone looks abysmal.
Yeah. I was dead wrong about the pass rush. I thought they were going to have a pass rush. I thought for sure those guys would be effective, but a lot of it's been they haven't done well in first and second down. But it's not just that they've had opportunities. They've had opportunities.
Well, they can't get off the field on 3rd and 14 sometimes.
Right.
I mean, when that's a 50-50 proposition, you might as well pack it up.
Yeah.
Actually, they can't pack it up. Don't pack it up.
Don't pack it up. Keep playing. Keep playing.
Eight
Keep
games
playing.
left. 8 games left. 8
Keep playing
games
hard.
left.
Right.
Keep fighting.
8 games. We're still in
But-
September. This is September.
Part of it is that people make their own Kool-Aid. We're going to go with the analogy, I guess.
Yeah, go with it.
When you're over here watching the stuff that Nebraska puts out and you're talking yourself into specific players you've never seen play before and all of these things that you're building off of watching these like 30-second highlight clips or still Instagram photos of guys working out, like this happens every off season. People talk themselves into specific players and then they have their own little like weird cheering section before they've ever played before.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And God help you if you're on Twitter and you don't include one of these players, or it's like in the spring there was this whole weird sort of subset of fan that was like, Logan Smothers is going to beat everybody out and win like when you do this and you sort of just reinforce everything on itself, you're like making your own Kool-Aid that these guys are better than they actually are.
Well, listen, we listen to the coaches talk about certain players in a favorable light. And what I always say is these coaches are just telling us why they think this is going to work.
Yeah.
And we're reporting it. And
we don't get enough access to watch to tell you why these things may not
work. Right.
Exactly.
So, and I don't expect the coaches to go to the podium after a spring practice, for instance, and tell us why it's not going to work.
Well, their job is to reinforce and to build confidence.
Right.
So I like part of it when they're up there and they're talking about some of these guys is that they want to build confidence in those players. Like if they did have a good practice, but having one good practice on Tuesday, August 12th, I don't know if that was an actual Tuesday or not, but having one good practice on August 12th doesn't set you up for success on October 2nd. First,
this is the psychological discussion, right? I mean, people want to believe in the team.
Yes. It's more fun.
That's fandom. I mean, you don't go into every year just saying, "Oh, this is going to suck." You tell yourself,
They
hey,
don't,
this is
they
gonna be
don't
the
want to
year
hear
it
that
changes.
from us.
Like Kansas fans this year, they went 3-9 last year. Now they're having a hell of a year at 4-0. They didn't go in there expecting to suck probably this year, right? They wanted to have hope that things were going to be different, and so far that's turning out to be true. You don't enter this. You don't want to think that Nebraska's going to go 3-9 again. That's not fun. But can you drink the Kool-Aid responsibly?
Right. That is a good
responsible Kool-Aid consumption.
Right.
And it's not like there wasn't at least some reasons to talk yourself into some things too. But I was immediately of the mindset that 6-6 or 7-5 would be a pretty impressive turnaround. Given that they went 3-9 last year, and that to me was probably their best roster that they had up to that point. So, trying to do the mental gymnastics of how they're going to be better while losing some of those key guys is part of the discussion. But yeah, and really, and I say this, the difference between like 3-9 and 6-6 is not
that big,
substantial. I mean, the difference between 1-11 and 4-8 is fairly substantial, and the difference between like 10-2 and 6-6 is fairly substantial. But a lot of those you're talking about 7 to 10 plays across the season that can dictate 2 to 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, one obvious, I guess, is worth mentioning. Nobody would have guessed that the defense is struggling to this level as a whole. 128th nationally.
Right.
Nobody saw that coming, including the coaches in at Nebraska. They didn't see it coming.
Right. I
don't think
they had improved in terms of points per game every year from 2017 through 2021 in terms of points per game allowed. Yardage was about the same the last couple of years, I think.
Small progress.
But I don't think, I mean, even the most
skeptical,
ardent detractor of Eric Shenander, and there was plenty of them, wouldn't have guessed it to be this bad. Could they have guessed that, maybe they're a 85th in the country through 4 games? Sure. But
128,
to the level of where they're at now, it's a pretty start.
We were talking earlier in the show that Nebraska's blitzes have just been so easy to stop.
They send them from Raymond. These guys are running 37 yards to get to the quarterback. Like
that's part.
You get caught in the wash pretty easily if you're not, up near the line of scrimmage. And it's not like they're tricky about it, other than when they come off the corner. I mean, About the only
not
blitz
tricky at
that's
all.
been successful over the last 5 years feels like the cornerback blitz.
Yeah, Jake and I were talking about that earlier. The his blitz package was very predictable. And you often saw, they come from a distance, they get picked up fairly easily. And listen, you guys watch more football than I do. I mean, you watch teams blitz sometimes that are it's pretty elaborate, and you can get caught. An offense can get caught off guard. It seems like Nebraska never catches anybody off guard.
Right. Yeah. It's it doesn't feel particularly creative, and a lot of that, though.
Right. Well, it's not.
A lot of that is what you have up front. If those guys aren't taking on multiple blockers, if you only need one guy across for Ty Robinson, Colton Feast, and O'Shawn and Garrett.
Yeah, that inside
if you
linebacker.
don't, then sending a fifth guy doesn't matter because they got a fifth guy.
Right.
And chances are, if they're keeping somebody in for protection, they have, 6 guys to year 4 to year 5, so you're not.
Or if it's just 6 on 6.
Right.
It seems like that's what's happening.
And then you have less help in the back end and someone's getting picked apart.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so as you go forward and they play Indiana on Saturday, and we asked defensively what can change the rest of the season. We know that Bill Busch wants to simplip some things, get these guys lined up correctly, which seems
feet set,
right?
Feet set, get feet set.
Do you think we will have it will be visible on Saturday, changes that have been made defensively, or things that have been upgraded or fixed?
I don't know that I don't know to the average football fan that you're going to look at it and see a remarkably different scheme or anything like that. But could it look better if guys tackle better? Yes. Could it look better if guys finish a play better? Yes. I mean, if you are a little bit more aggressive and your front can create a little bit more pressure, everything's going to look better because of it.
Yeah.
Whether there's a real difference or not is always sort of hard to discern to me.
Yeah.
Especially when you're watching a game, in the flow of things, it's not like I don't have the mind where I can just sort of grease board it while I'm watching the game happen.
I'm not Romo.
I don't even really have the mind to grease board it when the game's over either. So
I don't either. But I will tell you this: they can't make wholesale changes in scheme. It's not enough time. There's not enough time. I mean,
talking to some former players, I mean, what they can basically do is try to eliminate a few of the mistakes that they're making. I mean, so you want to be a little bit more solid in tackles. They're really emphasizing just fundamentals and just being in your spot,
gap,
and
integrity.
And lane integrity and all of that stuff. So, but it's going to take better individual performances too. Like Garrett Nelson needs to play better. O'Shawn Mathis needs to play better.
Inside linebackers need to play better.
Absolutely,
a lot better.
And they need help. Like all of them need help up front. Ty Robinson and whoever's opposite of him have to if you want to talk about if guys can make a 2-level jump, if you get a 2-level jump in your interior defensive line, it's going to help both your edge rushers and those inside linebackers. But that was a big area of concern, and it feels like it's even bigger now that we're 4 games in.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of questions from people in terms of how many guys are on the same page here, because obviously now it makes sense if you're not on the same page with a coach gone and a coordinator gone. But yesterday you hear from Mark Whipple saying it wouldn't matter if Nebraska slowed it down against Oklahoma, where Mickey Joseph says we should have slowed things down.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Can they get on the same page? Like how far off are we in terms of cohesiveness in the staff even?
I guess it's sort of, you'd have to figure out what each means by what matters with that. I mean, Nebraska's probably not putting their defense in spots if they're in a little less tempo, and Whipple might just simply be referring to the overall offensive success wasn't going to be high, whether they went slow or fast when your offensive line is 5 turnstiles. So, it's it might just be as simple as that. I tend to think that they're sort of all going in the same direction. There might be some different ideas in exactly what it looks like when they're working in the same direction. But I guess I don't really think that it's, I think it's still mostly cohesive over there right now. Like, I don't think we've seen, 2017 is a pretty good example when you got into November of kind of a team that was indifferent and everyone knowing the writing's on the wall, this thing's over.
Okay.
I think because at 1-3, it doesn't look good. But if you can get a win against Indiana or a win against Rutgers or a win, both, then you're 3-3. You can kind of turn this thing around.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had 2017 Minnesota moment yet, I guess is what I'm sort of getting at. Where that kind of felt like the backbreaking, like this is just not they're
No,
not pulling out.
I agree with you.
I'm with you there,
Oklahoma,
yeah.
Oklahoma was
Well, that wasn't good.
right.
Was not good at all.
There was
Lost
some
next week.
And if Brent Venables was not, such a gentleman, that could have been a 70-14.
right. That's why I
They lose the next
agree
week.
with you. I agree with you. We haven't had the Minnesota moment, but there were some things in that game that looked a little bit like that, like the pursuit on the 61-yard.
Oh yeah.
On the 61-yard touchdown
The
run
third
by
down
Dylan
play.
Gabriel. Yeah. The pursuit wasn't what you'd want.
Yeah. Now, I will say this is a time in which, you think to yourself with the transfer portal, these guys aren't going to care. You're going to have people, and there's already a term for it, quiet portaling, that kind of thing.
portal.
Ooh, I like that. Interesting.
I kind of go the other way a little bit, because if you're someone who wants to transfer and you have 8 games left and you're just loafing on the field, like, this is a time, if you think about it from a personal standpoint, if you want to look good for future places, or if you want to go to, you really need to dedicate yourself to making these next 8 games,
One would think.
one sort of a resume for you.
One would think. Well, wait a second, though. I want to get back to quiet portaling. What is quiet portaling?
You're familiar with quiet quitting?
Oh, God. No. I mean, I guess.
So quiet quitting is this
what is that
idea that has spouted up over the last year or so post-COVID, that employees aren't quitting their jobs necessarily, but they're putting in less effort coming out of the pandemic because of everything that sort of happened there. And so you're getting less overall production in,
I've
workplace.
witnessed quiet quitting.
I mean, the thing about quiet quitting is, to me, it was before,
Now that you
22-year-old Mike Schaefer knew all about quiet quitting. Mike Schaefer, as an intern, was probably a pretty good quiet quitter.
Mike
but,
Schaefer with a mortgage, however,
Yeah,
might
can't
be
be
a
a
little
quiet
different.
quitter,
Right,
yeah,
right.
can't quit.
What about quiet portaling?
and so the idea is that, guys
Same
are
thing.
going to go through the motions, but eventually they're going to go into the portal anyways.
Oh.
But to me, if you have film of you and you're loafing down the field on a Dylan Gabriel touchdown run, guys are going to notice that. They're, is it going to get you removed from every list? No. But is it going to take you out from some teams? Sure. So if this is this is an every man for himself, then you should be really focused on trying to make yourself look good. At the very
So yeah, you'd be in favor then, I guess, of what happened the other day. Hank Bachmeier, the Boise State quarterback, he started for 4 seasons, and after 4 games of this year, he says, "I'm leaving. I'm going to go enter the portal so I can have 2 years somewhere else."
Well, I didn't hear Schaefer say be in favor of that.
But the thing is, he's not going to be loafing. He's not playing. He's just done.
yeah. I mean, I guess
he's done.
If you're sort of making that decision now to protect whatever eligibility you have, I guess that kind of makes sense. But
that's not quiet.
if
portaling.
you're in the middle of this
portaling.
season,
That's
like
portaling.
if it's Nebraska Purdue and it's West Lafayette and Charlie Jones is going in for his 3rd touchdown, and some defensive back is basically just giving up on the play and then leaves, and that film is out there,
That's quiet portaling.
Yeah, I mean that's what it means to me.
Yeah, and what it means to me is, isn't it? It could mean this. Well, I guess this is what you're saying, that person knows he's going in the portal,
Right? So they're
He's
not.
not in the portal like Hank Bachmeier,
Right.
But he knows it's an eventuality,
Mhm.
right? Ugh.
He stops playing so he can get ready for next year already.
Or just knows he's going. So what's the point?
Well, his season's over. He's
Right.
done for this football season.
Well, he's not done. He's still playing, but not. He's playing with the idea he's going to the portal. I don't
No,
know.
he's
Jake's on
done.
the same page.
Bachmeier's done.
Yeah,
Well,
Bachmeier.
I'm
you
talking
guys
about
are
Bachmeier.
like, it's a who's on
I was
first
talking about
moment,
Bachmeier
right?
here.
Yeah, it's a who's on
Talking
first.
about Bachmeier.
Okay,
Sorry.
yeah. You need to admonish me.
Yeah, I will. Hey, before we get to break, Schaefer,
Hell, Jake.
help us out in this one. We've been confused all week regarding
That's not a surprise. for you.
regarding this, and it's probably just again trying to get fans to bet on it. But is there any reason why Nebraska should be a favorite in this game? Nebraska, as of right now,
Yeah,
is
Indiana's
still-
not good.
But Nebraska's 1-3. Nebraska's a 5.5
Sure.
point favorite. We don't get it still. Indiana's not good, but neither is Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean, look, Vegas basically was saying neither of these teams are good. Nebraska's playing at home. Preseason, we thought Nebraska was better. So talent-wise, we think Nebraska is better. There hasn't been any sort of injury that removes any of the, if Casey Thompson wasn't playing, this would flip things.
I sort of view it as, okay, they don't regard Indiana that highly. Neither do I. I didn't going into the season. I thought this would be a win before the season. I still think this can be a win. Like, I'm predicting this to be a win.
Are you?
Yeah. I don't know.
Why?
Vegas's job is to entice action on either side of the number, right?
That's the thing you always have to remember.
I mean, they're just trying to hedge bets and not lose a bunch of money. I don't think they look at it like, oh, we're going to troll a bunch of Nebraska fans and make Nebraska the favorite. No, I mean, they've assessed this as more often than not in their simulations, 54% of the time Nebraska's walking out with a win. I don't understand. There has been a lot of like people that seem confused by the concept that a bad football team can win a football game. I mean, it happens every week in college
one
football.
thing to win it. It's another thing to be favored to win the game. Like, they're expecting it. That's where
they were like a 2.5 point favorite. And then some money came in on Nebraska and it's now climbed up a little bit. But I mean, you've seen this Indiana team play Illinois. Like, they're not anything impressive.
No.
Yeah, I'm familiar. They won the game. They're not. So this is a winnable game for Nebraska.
You know how they win? We you know what's going to happen. Anthony Grant's going to run for a lot of yards, and Irvin probably run for a lot of yards. They're going to try
Gabe Irvin.
I mean, I
think
Mickey,
Nebraska will come out and play hard.
Isn't that what Mickey's suggesting essentially in saying we're going to slow it down? That means we're going to run it.
Could be.
And you can run it against Indiana. You should be able to.
I think part of it is that Indiana goes at such a frenetic pace. Nebraska can't try to match that, or their defense is just going to be absolutely worthless by the middle of the third quarter.
I think you're going to see a lot of Anthony Grant. I think he could get 150 in this game. Anthony Grant. And I think you could see Irvin get it 60 again.
You think a heavy rush?
And we might see some Ramir Johnson now.
Nebraska.
Yeah, we might see some Ramir Johnson now.
Some Jockey Ant.
Little Jockey Ant, maybe. I mean, yeah, I think that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah,
I do. Now the offensive line,
it is what it is right now.
Well,
right?
But they've showed at times they can run block.
Yeah,
and you've agreed, Jake, that Anthony Grant shows off and he doesn't need a lot of blocking.
No, he gets through some.
Yeah, he makes some things happen.
So, okay, if you were doing this from the Vegas perspective, how many times out of 10 do you think Nebraska wins the game on Saturday?
Ooh, good question. At home?
Yeah. Everything you know about this team right now.
4.
So you think
you're at
40%? So Indiana should be favored then?
Yeah, I think Indiana should. I mean, I don't know if they should be favored. I'm picking them to win. It's two different things.
I'd go straight 5 at the moment.
Schaefer said something critical that you have to understand about lines. They're trying to get money on both sides.
Yeah,
okay?
They want that perfect middle.
It doesn't mean they necessarily think Nebraska's going to win by 6 points or win. I mean, they're trying to attract.
Well, open at 2.5, which is basically a
pick,
which just means the money came in on Nebraska by a field goal, and then eventually it got to about 5.5, 6. I think it's up.
Yeah,
to.
it was 6.5. Now it's 5.5.
It does feel like a pick'em game.
I agree with that. Yeah,
it feels like a pick'em.
I think Nebraska's going to come out and play well. I have a weird irrational confidence here. The last time I sort of had this feeling, they went to East Lansing and should have won that football game, and I felt very good about Nebraska in that one.
Well, a lot of people had that feeling going into Oklahoma and got duped.
That they were going to win? Oh, I had Oklahoma 38-13. My regret was I didn't go high enough on that. I feel pretty good about it. I was like, they're gonna come out and score right away. Emotion's gonna be high, and then emotion fades, and you have to rely on what you can do, and they aren't good enough.
You called it. I thought it was gonna be close. Dean Blevins, you know who Dean Blevins is, the sports anchor in Oklahoma City, used to play for Oklahoma. He came up to me before the game, was like, I think Nebraska's gonna win. I think Nebraska's gonna win.
There was a weird amount of confidence in
I don't
Nebraska
know that
game.
Oklahoma's fans or their press thought that they were a world-beating
They
team.
didn't. That they didn't.
And so then they kick the crap out of Nebraska, and the version of them that's probably more real shows up against Kansas State the next week.
Yep, indeed. If you have any questions for Mike Schaefer, please call or text 464-5685. More Coolio. Send us to break. R.I.P.
What up, everybody? So glad you're here. It's Coolio with the flow back in your ear. This ain't a fantastic voice, but I'm still on the mission. Let's see if I can get your attention. Now, I want to drop some information, just a little additive to your education.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. Summer is here, and that means you're having garage parties with neighbors, hitting the golf course and the pool. The drink of this summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors for 4-packs, 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and berry. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD at 84th and Andermatt and TrekCBD.com. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
The weather in Nebraska is unpredictable every day, and that's no fun when you're trying to golf. Double Eagle Golf in West Lincoln is now open to let you play in perfect indoor conditions daily. Double Eagle Golf has 5 simulator bays to hit in, by far the most in Lincoln, and has a fully stocked bar with beers and cocktails for you to enjoy while you play. Double Eagle Golf is open each weekday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., so you can start the day there, take a client over lunch, or end the night with friends. Check out Double Eagle Golf today inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew live from Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Brought to you by A1 Automotive, Mullen Motors, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Bauer Underground, Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group, and Ritchie Brothers.
People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go.
Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at NebraskaAutoDetail.com.
You're getting lots of steps in this fall between going to football and volleyball games. Are your shoes getting worn out? For the rest of September, when you stop by Brown Shoe Fit, you can take an additional 20% off the men's clearance rack sale price. The clearance rack has your favorite brands like Brooks, New Balance, Clarks, and more. Hurry in for the best selection in your size. The sale ends September 30th, so hurry in now for 20% off all shoes on the men's clearance rack at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.58 per hour. And other select jobs is starting at $24.28 per hour, with wages growing up to $30.30 per hour. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
It's tailgate season. Why would you bounce around from place to place for all your beverage needs when you could have it all in one place? Wine, Beer, and Spirits has everything for your parties with their 3 locations in Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. It's the largest liquor store in the state, and here's the best part. You can get a drink from their bar and walk around with it as you shop for all your tailgate necessities. Locally owned and operated, it's Wine, Beer, and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
Mild and breezy conditions here for our Thursday, topping out with a high of 78. South winds could gust over 20 at times, with just a few passing clouds. Heading into tonight, we'll keep a little bit of cloud cover around the region, a low down to around 53. Warm and breezy again tomorrow. South winds gusting over 20 with a high of 82. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This
Well, good morning, little brother.
is Early Break with Zip and Jay, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Weekday mornings from 6 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Once again, if you have any questions for Mike Schaefer, please call or text 402-464-5685. Schaefer, this hour, as always, is sponsored by Trek CBD, 84th and Highway 2, 84th and Andermatt to be exact. Any kind words for Trek CBD today?
Only the kindest words for Trek CBD. I mean, I've been again sampling some different products, and I think I last time told you about the rum chata gummy.
Yes, you did.
Had that the other day.
Interested.
Say again.
It's a rum chata flavored 25 milligram gummy that for most people you can probably split in half and be just fine. I'm not most people, so I rolled with the whole thing. It was good. It was fine. It was a nice experience. It was nice and mellow. You know, sometimes it can get a little bit paranoia based. You know, and I don't recommend that to people. But that's usually because I'm overdoing it on the dose.
I really like that. I like that word, rum chata.
You ever had rum chata before?
No. I'll bring you one if you'd like to try it.
Shots out there.
No, is that right?
Yeah.
You need it on a night like maybe when the
It's a
NBA
shot.
gets going, and you can just have a double header night where you're just sitting there watching basketball.
That sounds.
That
pretty
might
good.
be the way to
that.
do it.
Hey, that sounds appealing.
I'm
trying to change things up a little bit.
When I know I'm not going anywhere later in the evening, and I can just the two TV setup, I can put baseball over here and football over there, and
with a rum chata.
Oh yeah.
You ever had Cinnamon Toast Crunch before? The cereal?
Yes.
People view
rum
chata as like alcohol.
It's in that sort of
Cinnamon
flavor.
Toast Crunch milk, but alcohol.
Okay.
Which is really good.
Yeah, that does sound pretty
I
good.
can't believe you've never had rum chata or heard of rum chata.
I've never heard of it.
But as always, Trek CBD.
Thank you, Shay.
84th and Highway 2.
All right, let's get to the good stuff here.
Yes. Again, 464-5685. Call or text as always. I want to ask a Big Ten West question to you real quick.
Sure.
Schaefer likes some Minnesota.
Minnesota, I know they haven't played they've played Michigan State, which was an awesome one. They haven't played much before that, but they are 4-0 and they are good on offense and they are good on defense. Is it their division to lose?
It sure feels like it. I mean, they're an old team. So you got Tanner Morgan at quarterback, and you have Ibrahim at running back. You have some other veterans kind of sprinkled throughout. They sort of know what the objective is. The schedule sets up great for them. I think we talked about that before the year.
We have, yeah.
You get out of that Michigan State game, and then the next kind of test here, they've got Purdue. If they get by Purdue, you've sort of got the Wisconsin, Iowa, Penn State are the three games left that you're really, everyone else, it feels like they're built to take care of. I mean, this is a team outside of Michigan that I think can put up the highest number on Nebraska right now.
Yep.
I mean, just
I agree.
the way that they play is the exact opposite of how Nebraska's built and how Nebraska can handle things.
This is, you know what, though? I'd say this is a sneaky big game for Minnesota.
I think Purdue is solid. Like, they have two losses that came in the last 2 minutes of a game against Penn State and Syracuse, teams that are undefeated, I believe, both of them.
Yep, you're right. Yep, correct. Both of them are.
So, those aren't, people look at that and like, 2 losses, 4 games, whatever. Charlie Jones is good. Aiden O'Connell is good. Purdue can go and win this game.
Right. Now, here's why I say that, though, because everybody's talking up Minnesota.
Sure.
Now, if they take care of Purdue handily, that tells me they're really for real.
I agree. Totally.
I mean,
is O'Connell playing this weekend? He did not play last week.
He didn't play. Aiden O'Connell didn't play last week.
In a close win against FAU.
Trying to just get him ready.
There's another part of this conversation that's pretty interesting, and it's flying under the radar. But a lot of Purdue fans are thinking this is it for Braum, that Louisville could open and he's gone. It's a sort of a
that's happened.
It happens about every year, actually. But it's
Louisville's kind of a mess.
Yeah, exactly. Braum from Louisville, a Louisville alum. The Purdue fans are operating like this is it. I mean, we're gonna lose Jeff Braum. That's part of the conversation. But I'm telling you, this is a big psychological game to me from Minnesota. If they are listening to everybody say how good they are, they might take a step back in this game. It's in Minneapolis though, right?
We confirm that. Hang on.
Yeah, please do.
I will say this though, for them, when they've been in this situation, like it was Penn State in 2019, it was Nebraska in 2019, it was, there's certain games, And PJ Fleck has those guys ready to go.
I know.
That is,
I agree with you.
As much as fans around here don't want to hear it, he
I
is a
know.
very good coach.
Yes, he is.
He's been a very
Yes,
good
he
coach.
is.
I
His
know.
track record shows he's a very good
I know.
coach.
I know.
And as long as he's at Minnesota, they're going to be a problem.
I agree.
It is at Minnesota. 12.5 point favorites are the Gophers. 11 a.m. kick.
You don't. If you're a Minnesota fan, you don't want to see them take a step back right now, because they seem to be that team.
Mhm.
And if they do, it'll be a little confusing, disappointing.
Well, it
right?
has a lot of the feel of 2019.
It does. It
where,
sure does.
But the reverse here, 2019, they
Eked out
escaped
some
South
ones.
Dakota State. They escaped
Georgia
Southern.
Southern. Yeah.
They did play great against, I think, Fresno
Yep,
or
they
whoever
beat
it
Fresno
was.
close in overtime.
And, it was sort of okay, we're getting confidence because we're coming out on top here. So we're doing something right. And then they had that middle portion of the season. They kicked the crap out of Nebraska. They beat up on some other Big Ten West teams. And they really built themselves up for that Penn State game, and then they won it. This version of them seems more dangerous, despite having probably that team had Antoine Winfield Jr., and he was an eraser. He just made plays
He was big time
constantly.
eraser.
I don't think they have that on defense.
I don't know if they do or not.
But I think they're better on offense, which is fascinating because that team, Tyler Johnson, Rashad
Yeah.
Bateman, I forget who the running back was in
They
2019.
had Brooks. And
They had several. They had
Brooks,
3 or
Shannon
4.
Brooks and,
yeah. Smith. Do they have a Smith?
Rodney Smith,
Rodney
yeah.
Smith.
Plus
yeah.
Ibrahim was there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was a young guy.
They had 3 or 4 running backs.
So
And,
no, they're
and Chris Ottman-Bell's out for the season. Their top receiver.
They're not missing him.
But
though.
he was gone last
Yeah.
week, and they
have the
rolled
right
Michigan
guy.
State.
right.
The guy,
I think it's,
the guy from Texas Tech.
Texas A&M, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, big one. Big one. I think that's an 11 a.m. game. There's some good 11 a.m. games. Well, Michigan, Iowa is 11 a.m.
That is not a good game.
Well, it's an important game.
Well, sure, it's important, but is it going to be the level of quality football that you want to watch?
I don't know. It's interesting. to me.
Iowa has to earn the right to be on the television, I think, at this point. And that offense has not earned that right.
It would be confusing to me if Iowa wins. I will say that.
Yes.
It'd
I
it'd
think
throw
Michigan should
it'd throw me into confusion if Iowa wins that game. Would it throw you into confusion, Jake?
Yes. If Iowa beats Michigan, I will be baffled.
Right.
Now Michigan looked human against Maryland last week. I mean, they only won by 7 on their home.
Yeah, that
field.
was a surprise.
I think that's more commentary on Maryland than Michigan. I think Maryland's pretty good. I mean,
well, but Michigan also,
home
their
game.
schedule is pretty light. I mean, it was Hawaii, UConn,
really light.
someone else, and then Maryland. So they haven't,
No, they're a
they
little
probably
bit.
haven't faced a very physical team.
No, they're you're watching Michigan and wondering, are they really the number 4 team in the country, number 5 team, whatever they are? They're top 5 team. Are they? Are they a top 5 team?
Well-
if they're a top 5 team, they'll go into Iowa and take care of
They
business.
should. And like you said, Iowa's upset this is not a night game because Kinnick's tough to win at nighttime. And it is. Kinnick is.
I'm laughing at Iowa being upset about the game.
That's
time.
too bad, Iowa. Let's get a quick call from John before the game show. John, you're on early break. Go ahead.
Hi, fellas. Hey, I got a question. So as I was kind of followed Minnesota's and their ascension up the Big Ten, I think it's been because of they've improved every year. They've improved the quality of their offensive line.
Okay.
Both the guys they've gotten, they develop them, and their running backs and running game.
Mhm.
So I guess where are they getting these guys? How are they developing them? And why can't we figure that out here?
Great question. Great
Thanks,
question.
John.
I mean, it isn't just a recruiting discussion, largely.
Yeah, well, one, I think that they have a certain archetype of running back that they want, and so they do a good job of finding those guys, all over. I mean, sometimes they're in Florida, sometimes they're in the Midwest, whatever. They're a development program, which means their offensive line and those guys are ready to go behind the ones that have been starters, and they lost several starters from their
That's the
offensive
thing,
line, right?
Yeah. So it's
So-
development, and they went to the portal. They used
Yeah.
the portal.
Well, they do it how I think Nebraska's next coach, whoever it is going to have to do it, which is the portal is just to supplement the roster that you're building. You have to go and get 4 and 5 year players. You have to keep guys on your roster. And, Minnesota's had players transfer, so it's not like everything is completely great up there.
No, it's
whatever.
not. I don't want to talk about
But-
Minnesota like that. It's not perfect.
But
up
the idea being that you got to build from your high school kids that you're developing, and then you're putting in a few portal guys to try to put you over
Yeah.
the top.
Well, yeah.
You can't just. There was never going to be any success, and I don't think this is what Scott Frost wanted to do. But you can't have 14 portal guys every year.
No,
that can't be a strategy. It's not
No.
going to work.
You know what? what it is. A lot of this is a mentality, and they have that. They've built it. That's PJ Fleck has built that mentality.
I mean, we all made fun of year zero, but it was a thing. He established what he wanted guys to be. He's been consistent throughout. I mean, he gets mocked routinely for his, sort of
way about him.
Yeah. But that
Different
culture that
character.
he's instilled, it's worked for them.
Mhm.
I don't know that it works everywhere, but it's worked for them up there.
Mhm.
And he's comfortable. He's happy. And they're playing good football.
Where does that not work at? Like, does it work at Nebraska? His culture? Like, where is it too phony for people?
I don't know. It would be tough for me. I think it works at Minnesota's kind of a background college in a big city. I don't know that it would work at a place like Texas or where it's just like
blue blood.
Yeah, I don't know that it would work there. I mean, his name came up for the Tennessee job, and that didn't feel like that would. That would
I
go
don't
very
think
well.
he'd work at like Florida or I don't know.
I think
it's good. It's interesting. I will tell you this. I remember when they hired him, when Minnesota hired him, and I looked at a lot of the comments, message board, and under the stories in the Minneapolis Star Tribune, and a lot of people didn't like it. They didn't like his act.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't like it. So I don't know.
I thought there was discussions with Oregon for him at one point.
I've never heard.
I think that when they hired Cristobal, but they wanted Matt Rule, who turned him down outright to go to Baylor.
Yeah, he did.
Because he basically could choose between Baylor and Oregon, and he chose Baylor.
I think Mike's exactly right on something. Fleck at a blue blood doesn't like Fleck at LSU just doesn't. It doesn't equate in my mind.
Nebraska's a blue blood.
I know it doesn't. I don't think it would.
I don't think it would work here either.
I don't.
One, I think that he talks so much that it opens itself up for commentary on that continually. And then two, I think they sort of build themselves with the chip of no one cares about us up here. Like I think they play into that.
He kind of works for
when
he works like that.
When you are at a program where there's a sellout every single game and you have this sort of support, I don't know that you can get to that messaging or that sort of motivational mentality. Like now there's other ways to do it, and maybe he changes his spots a little bit if he goes somewhere else, and there is this sort of bigger spotlight on it.
I don't know if he'd work at Penn State. I don't think he'd work at Michigan. I just can't see it. The vision doesn't.
I think the
match
job he wanted was Notre Dame. Didn't get it.
That
It wasn't
doesn't
on the
seem-
list.
doesn't
and
I can't see him at Notre Dame.
No. Why? Why though?
It doesn't fit the brand. I don't see it.
Right. The brand doesn't
I
fit.
think your description of PJ Fleck, of being kind of lost in a big city, but an underappreciated. Always the underdog. Minnesota's always an underdog. They always will be an underdog. Even right now at 4-0, they're an underdog. Like compared to Ohio State, they're not a giant. So let's play the game show. Give us a call right now at 464-5685. Your chance to win a business box of bagels to Bagels and Joe. Sip is 0-3 on the week, Schaefer.
A lot of overtime problems.
0-3.
That's all right.
A lot of
So we
overtime
need your help
problems.
today.
We'll
to
clean it up.
Get off the.
Won't even talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Or the bagel in the bag, if you will.
There's a certain shirt that could be worn.
Do not yell.
Okay,
that
so tonight we got
phrase.
Dolphins Bengals on Thursday Night Football. I've got the vest on support. So how about Throwback Thursday? Dolphins Bengals career leaders. I mean, kind of a throwback. Career leaders in the franchise.
Wait a second.
It's kind of throwbacky.
Bengals Dolphins career leaders.
Yeah, in different categories.
Oh my!
It's kind of throwbacky. 464-5685. Shut up, Sipple. Starts right now.
We've all been there. You're listening to the radio, and then that rage starts to grow inside of you. It starts to consume you. It gets to a point where you just want to yell, "Shut up, Sipple!" No, sorry. I'm sorry. Well, here's your chance. It's time to shut up, Sipple. Call now to play. 464-5685. Shut up, Sipple. Brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
All right, 464-5685. Call the takedown Sip and Trivia. How do you feel today about Dolphins and Bengals career leaders?
I feel oddly confident about this.
Schaefer, how do you feel?
I don't feel confident at all.
Oh, come on.
But I don't know what categories he's going to ask about.
You don't.
I don't.
That's the best part.
You're an NFL fan.
Yeah, but if he's like, okay, who's the interception leader for the Bengals all time?
That's too hard. I'm not doing that.
So you know what I mean?
I believe these are all gettable. I'm saying
You asked about Steve Berline last week.
Right, you did.
That's not even a real player. That's like a computer-generated quarterback on
these
Madden
are
in year
all
2044.
4 gettable answers, I believe. Okay, Alex, how do you feel?
believes.
Alex, how do you feel about Bengals Dolphins career leaders?
I don't feel too bad at all.
All right,
pretty
let's
good.
get to it. Schaefer Lifeline for Sip for one question. As always, Alex, first question goes to you. Who has the most rushing yards in Dolphins history with 6,737 yards?
Dan Marino.
Rushing yards? Rushing yards?
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you guys very well. I'm sorry. Leading Dolphins rushers, is that what you said?
Yes.
I have no idea. Ricky Williams.
Ricky Williams is not correct.
Schaefer, I mean, I'm tempted.
Look, it's your.
What do you think?
It's yours, but I don't have a name. Ricky Williams is the closest one that I could have come up with, and that was wrong. I mean, if you've got something, go
taking
for it.
this one.
Tell me it's. I'm passing, but tell me it's not Zonka.
It was Larry Zonka. I thought you were going to get that for sure. I'm surprised you didn't.
Well,
go
it was
for that.
Mercury Morris or Zonka.
He was like.
Barely hear him. It's like not coming through very well. That's the thing.
Okay. Can you hear us, Alex? We can hear you perfectly.
Yeah, you're very.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Sip's question here. Schaefer's still in play. 0-0 tie. What quarterback, Sip, has the most passing touchdowns in Bengals history with 204?
Kenny Anderson.
Alex, did you hear the question?
Quarterback leading in touchdown passes.
Do you want that question, Alex, or you want to pass?
No.
You got
Pass.
to guess, Schaefer?
Boomer.
No. Andy Dalton, number 1.
See?
Anderson was number 2, and Boomer was 3.
Oh,
so
damn it.
All right. For the lead,
0-0 going into the third.
Yeah, last question for Alex. What receiver has the most receiving yards in Bengals history with 10,783 yards, Alex?
Chad Ochocinco.
That is correct. Just ahead of AJ Green, just behind him. So
Good job, Alex.
Chad
Really
Johnson.
good career.
He did. All right, you need this one, and Schaefer's in place. So
Okay, all right, Schaefer, come
down
on. Lock
1-0.
in. We got to get to overtime.
Who has the most career tackles in Miami Dolphins history with 1,035 tackles in his 11 seasons with the franchise?
I think I know that. Do you know it?
I have a guess. Are we allowed to confer?
Does he happen to be from Texas Tech?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Zach Thomas.
Yes.
Zach Thomas is correct.
Better than Brian Urlacher.
Yeah.
Zach Thomas.
He is, and he should be a Hall of Famer.
He was a
dang right.
Texas Tech player, correct?
That's correct.
All right.
6th-round pick
All right,
out of
well,
Texas
good
Tech.
job, Schaefer.
All right,
Good
this goes to Alex and Sip. You'll go over under Alex's number.
Yeah, this is big.
All right, Alex. Dan Marino
This is big.
had 420 passing touchdowns in his 17 NFL seasons. How many interceptions did he have in his career? Again, 420 touchdowns. How many picks in his career? Alex, this is to you.
175.
Okay. 175 is the guess.
I'm going under. I feel very confident in saying under.
You agree
Fewer
with that,
than.
Schaefer?
I don't agree, but I'm curious
Oh,
to see where this goes.
Can I? Can I?
We already used
No.
it. We already
It's,
used
I
it.
Fewer
gotta go
than.
with his.
252.
My guess is 263 is what I had in my head.
He threw a lot of picks. Not as many as touchdowns, of course. 252 is the number. So, Alex, another 3 straight overtime losses for Sip. Right
Overtime's killing me right
We'll get you bagels. Thanks for calling in and calling down the road, Alex.
Hey, no big deal. Suck it, Sip.
Suck it. Not shut up, but suck
Oh,
it.
no.
Wow, that was rude.
This is really this is rough. 3 overtime losses. I'm rattled. He said suck it,
He
Sip.
said suck it.
I feel bad that you didn't go with Larry Zonka, but I would not
should've
have
gone
guessed that
Zonka.
at all. That felt like it was specifically designed that you were the only one that was going to get it.
All right. Well, AD and Raph are out today, so if you want to hang out for 5 more minutes, Schaefer.
I'm in.
All right,
Yeah,
spill
thank you,
over
Schaefer.
with some more Coolio to send it to break. R.I.P. Coolio. Next early breaking the tickets.
Me be treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of. You better watch how you're talking and where you're walking, or you and your homies might be lying to chalk. I really hate
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Bauer Infrastructure is a new name from a well-established brand, and they're paving the way to progress. And they're hiring. Bauer Infrastructure is hiring truck drivers, carpenters, truck mechanics, and equipment operators. And they have industry-leading benefits to maintain a work-life balance. Bauer offers paid time off and paid holidays, a matching 401k plan, medical, dental, vision, life, and disability insurance, a clothing allowance, and more. Start your new career today by applying at BauerInfrastructure.com.
Join us on Fridays from 2 to 6 on the rooftop at Barry's as we get you ready for Saturday's game on the block with Eric Strickland and Nate Brennan, followed by Old School with Jay Foreman and DP this Friday from 2 to 6 at Barry's on 9th and Q.
Tractor Supply is looking for full-time team members for their Waverly Distribution Center. Applicants can expect a 3- and 4-day work week schedule with additional overtime days with both day and night shift schedules available. Stand-up forklift and high-reach forklift experience is a plus for open positions, but they're willing to train for those without experience. At Tractor Supply, they work hard, have fun, and make money. Apply today at tractorsupply.jobs.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
Mild and breezy conditions here for our Thursday, topping out with a high of 78. South winds could gust over 20 at times, with just a few passing clouds. Heading into tonight, we'll keep a little bit of cloud cover around the region, a low down to around 53. Warm and breezy again tomorrow. South winds gusting over 20 with a high of 82. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
People first is more than a nice sentiment. At American Senior Benefits, it's the mission. If you're ready for a career where you can truly put your customers' needs ahead of everything else, this is for you. American Senior Benefits is one of the leading senior market insurance product distributors in the country, and they're looking for high-energy applicants with strong communication skills. Enjoy on-the-job training, a fun work environment, and unlimited income potential. Visit ASBMidwest.com to learn more. American Senior Benefits. There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism. Hey guys, Nick Sadert here, and I want to tell you about my friends at Spine and Sports Chiropractic. I experienced a herniated disc in my lower back a few years ago, and thanks to the folks at Spine and Sports, I got back to feeling 100%. At Spine and Sports, they use the active release technique, which involves the soft tissue and can alleviate headaches, shoulder pain, plantar fasciitis, and more. What I like most about the ART method is that your doctor will construct a plan that fits your needs because the technique is not a cookie-cutter approach. Allow Spine and Sports Chiropractic to help you feel better. Set up your appointment today by giving them a call at 402-261-6841.
Empire Fence and Netting in Waverly is now hiring for several positions. They're looking for a fence installer for both commercial and residential, for local projects, and ones that require travel. They also have openings for operators, dirt work, welding positions, and applicants with CDLs are very desirable. If you're looking for a locally operated business that provides excellent work for customers and great benefits and care for its employees, email info@empire-fence.com or give them a call at 402-682-7658. Empire Fence and Netting.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppel Chevrolet GMC, and things are cooking in Louisville. Right now, our pre-owned sales are off the charts, and we have loaded up the lots full of inventory. We've got a great supply of Sierras, Silverados, Tahoes, Yukons, and crossovers. Plus, we've got a great supply of back-to-school cars just in time for the big day. Don't forget about all of those new 2022 and 2023 units arriving every day as well. So please take that short, money-saving drive down 144th Street or shop online at CoppelCars.com. You'll be glad you did.
This
Well, good morning, little brother.
is Early Break with Sip and Jay, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Weekday mornings from 6 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It is a modified spillover because it's still the same as it was last hour. Mike Schaefer with us for one last segment. Raph and AD will be joining us via stream today.
Why didn't Nick come?
He's over there. He's fine. He's okay. We got Schaefer here.
We could use some Italian flavor on
Well,
this show.
he's not even Italian, so you won't even get that Italian flavor from Nick. He's just Czech, as he says. He appears
bully.
Italian. You call him a bully. He's too nice to be a bully.
He's a bully Italian.
I'm supposed to ask you a question, Schaefer, from the text line. Someone says
Italian
this.
bully.
Phil says, would you ask Schaefer his thoughts on Aaron Judge?
Yeah. I mean, congrats to Aaron Judge. 61 home runs is an awesome achievement. I find myself somewhat baffled by the coverage of it because
Why?
Well, a lot of guys have hit more than 61 home runs at this point. It's the highest in the American League, but it's not the all-time record. I don't do the whole if we just pretend like these guys didn't do that because we don't know what they were on. We don't really know. Aaron Judge could be the healthiest guy on the planet, but there could be some supplement that he's taking now that maybe gets banned in the future. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really worry about it a lot. A lot of it just kind of feels like the same thing happened for a guy who played for the Texas Rangers, the nation would be yawning.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's
or ESPN would be yawning.
Right. But because it's the New York Yankees, we sort of have to have it force fed down our throats. I mean, they're breaking into other sporting events to show Aaron Judge at bats
Jake,
for a thing that's not even a home run. And again, he's awesome. I don't have anything against Aaron Judge, and I really don't have anything against the Yankees, but the confluence of those two things and the necessity to breathtaking coverage for the guy who's now the 7th single season leader in home runs.
I totally agree with
You're right.
this.
It's because he's a Yankee, though. Because he's a Yankee.
Well, he might not be after this year, which is fascinating.
He bet
in
on
itself.
himself. Didn't take the count. He's gonna get a lot more money than wherever he's going next if he's not.
Feels like whenever I bet on myself, it doesn't go quite as well as when.
But who can outbid the Yankees? That was the question. Who can outbid the Yankees?
The Dodgers.
They already have enough. They don't.
The Mets.
They don't need Aaron Judge. They have 155 wins already.
They don't need these guys. They just add them because they can. They didn't need Max Scherzer and Trey Turner.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't need Mookie Betts. But if no one else is paying for them,
the Dodgers they're just annoying to me. They just all they do is win. They don't lose any games. They go on these 12-game win streaks every month. They lose a game, go on another 12-game win streak. Lose a game, win 12. It's ridiculous.
Was it actually Rico that texted in and wanted my thoughts?
No, I don't think he's Phil on the text line unless he's
Phil.
It could be his different.
Phil, I'm sorry I called you Rico.
I'm surprised you're annoyed by the
offensive.
Dodgers. The Dodgers aren't particularly annoying.
It's just kind of sick of them.
I'm sort of tired of every middle of the year. It's the best player that's available at the trade deadline is going to be a Dodger. I mean, Juan Soto ended up with the Padres, so but they're very good.
Are the Padres a playoff team, or did they fall off? Okay,
well,
playoffs.
there's more playoff
Wild
teams
card
now,
team.
so they're a wild card team. The Braves and the Mets are probably the most interesting thing going right now as they go back and forth for first place. Two of the best teams in the NL, along with the Dodgers. Otherwise, baseball is pretty for the last week of the season. There's not a lot of drama left.
You have a fella named Oscar Gonzalez,
who comes up to the SpongeBob SquarePants song every time he comes.
Is
to
that
bat.
right? And he smoked one at a shortstop the other day that was so fast that the shortstop misplayed it.
This seems right.
Yeah. This my dad was telling me about, who's a big Cleveland fan too, and that mesmerizes me, that sort of thing, because you know how hard you have to hit a ball. I mean, shortstop. I mean, you got some time.
Yeah,
and it handcuffed.
You hit 117 mile an hour ground.
Yeah, it was 113 mile, or I think it was 113 miles an hour. Maybe it was a little faster than that. But
just imagine if you put that in the air, that thing's going 400 feet.
That's traveling.
It's still amazing. Me and Schaefer went to the Royals Guardians game, third game of the season.
Okay,
and it's amazing how those franchises both changed so much since that day.
Cleveland was 0-2.
KC was 2-0. I mean, it was obviously it's the first series. KC was 2-0. Guardians were 0-2. Now they're
or maybe there was
having
1-2 and 2-1.
No,
we went to the Monday. It was the last game of the
Royals were 2-0.
Okay,
they didn't play. I think one of those days. They always play Friday and then take Saturday off.
Thursday. So I thought they played Thursday, didn't play Friday, then Saturday, Sunday.
I'm pretty sure they're undefeated.
I don't know.
Maybe
We'll have
I'm
to look
wrong.
it up. There's schedules that we can look at.
Last thing before we get out of here. Dolphins, Bengals tonight. We did trivia.
Well, we didn't talk about that at all.
Bengals, I think, are a 4-point favorite tonight. Let me get this confirmed.
I like the Dolphins outright.
In Cincy. In Cincy.
In Cincinnati, 7:15 kick tonight on Amazon Prime. So if you want to watch this, you can't just go to cable. You got to get Amazon Prime to watch the game.
And then you got to listen to
the
Kirk
bar.
Street.
That's right.
Al Michaels.
So tonight, right now the Bengals, as of this moment, are a 4-point favorite.
Yeah, I'd take the Dolphins, even on the short week.
Sorry, 3.5. Just went down.
One of the few things I think I'll get right from the NFL season, I was pretty low on the Bengals coming in. Obviously, they made the run to the Super Bowl and everything, but had some concerns. And so far, we were going through it. I mean, they've lost to Mitch Trubisky. They lost to who's the other quarterback we were talking about?
Yeah, not good.
Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush.
And they did defeat
no Tua's though.
They did defeat Joe Flacco.
They
so
did.
you got to give them credit where it's due.
Tua okay?
Tua's a play. Yeah, Tua is questionable, but per sources last night, he is going to play.
Okay.
Ankle and back injury for Tua, not a concussion, just ankle and back. He's playing. The reason why
I love that
I'll tell you this.
conversation.
I love Mike McDaniel, the new coach. I love him. I love what he's doing. And I told Schaefer, I want to believe now the Dolphins can win every game. I've never had that feeling. I've always been hopeful.
That is not true. You have had that feel. You've been irrationally confident about the Dolphins for years.
It's not real though. It's
Schaefer just
So now
random there.
So what am I supposed to do? Because you've been
This is
irrationally
real
confident
now.
about them, but now you're actually
I
confident.
think we're actually good.
How do I determine which is real and which isn't?
Can I tell you the stat of the day right now?
Yes.
Today is September 29th, 2022. The Dolphins have lost one football game since October 31st of last year. Okay, that's why I expect to win every game. We've lost one time almost the whole calendar year. And they didn't make the playoffs still. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
One time, Rico. Once. To the Titans on the road.
You're
last
the
year.
same guy that like 6 years ago came in and told me that Ryan Tannehill was going to win the MVP and the Dolphins would go like 13-3.
I've matured since then. I was an idiot back then.
The point being, how am I to determine which is the real confidence and which is the irrational?
I'm a 31-year-old mature man now. I was a 25-year-old back then. Idiot.
You don't have to pronounce it the same way that Simple does.
Mature.
Mature.
I go back and forth on that one.
Yeah, he's
So you've got Dolphins tonight. I want to pick them. I feel like I have to because I'm a Dolphins fan. I'm just concerned. I told Schaefer.
He just went from they're going to win every game to now he's going to pick the bad.
He's wearing a strange vest,
I said
by the way.
this. I told Schaefer they put so much energy into beating the Bills on Sunday. I mean, they put they put a lot of
they
energy
did.
into winning
They
that
did.
game.
That's a good
And I got a
point.
short week with
Yeah.
the banged up team.
Ooh, he makes a good point on that.
Sure.
It was a hot game. It was heat.
If the Dolphins win this game, they go to 4-0 for the first time since 1995. Hello.
Yeah.
And the schedule gets easy.
Now you made a lot of sense there. They did put a lot of energy into that game. I was very impressed by the way they hung in there in the heat, especially their
Thank you.
defense.
Thank you.
I mean, they played good defense on that last drive. Like, I don't know. You must like your secondary, right?
I love our secondary.
Yeah.
We got Xavier Howard. We don't even have Byron Jones. Our number 2 cornerback is still out.
God, they were good in that game.
We are starting right now an undrafted rookie at the second cornerback spot this year. Undrafted.
Really?
His name is Cater Kahoo.
Where's he from?
I think he's Washington State.
Is that right?
That could be a fake name for
Yeah.
all I know. I'm not going to look it up. I'm going to
Cater-
believe you.
Cater Kahoo's his name. It's ridiculous.
And he's starting.
He's starting.
I'll be darned.
You have a pick for tonight? I'll say Dolphins.
No,
by
I
3.
like what you said. You made a lot of sense. I'd have to pick Cincy. I think that's a tough turn.
By the way, Bengals will be in all white pants, white jersey, and white helmet. White helmet with black.
Wait a second.
Black stripes.
Don't they do that sometimes?
No.
No,
not
they're
very
going
often.
as the white
They go-
Bengals.
They go orange helmet usually. It's white helmet with the black stripes. So,
Oh, the Bengals.
Yeah, Bengals.
Yeah.
Not the Dolphins.
Okay.
All
Dolphins go all white, right?
Not tonight.
But they do.
They have.
The Dolphins
Yeah.
do.
Have they ever
go
gone
white.
all teal?
Yes. Not in the helmet.
They should just reverse it. So
I
it's
love it. Listen,
a teal helmet
the
with a white
Dolphins have
dolphin.
some of the best throwback uniforms in the NFL. You can't really
Dolphins
deny
got
that.
sweet uniforms.
We got
Their
swag.
regular uniform
We've-
is good.
Yeah, it is.
We're the coolest team out there.
Super cool. No, I will say that about the Dolphins. Super cool uniforms, color scheme, everything.
Schaefer taking the Dolphins. I'm taking the Dolphins. Sip's taking the Bengals.
I'm taking
And
Bengals
that's
because
how
of
we
what
go.
you said.
All right, it's been
We're
fun.
the coolest team out there.
Yeah, that's
Because
how,
of that?
Yeah, we got swag for
He's
days.
mature.
Mature.
All right, the drive with the Raf and AD is next for Mike Schaefer and Steve Sipple. I'm Jake Sorensen. See you.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. Summer is here, and that means you're having garage parties with neighbors, hitting the golf course and the pool.